we've struck up this friendship and relationship, but describe this podcast. Are we talking Joe Rogan, or is this more like, kind of industry specific? Is it crypto, non-crypto? Like, give us some teasers here.
Okay, so it's not Joe Rogan, and it's very much still in this space. Okay. But if I could give you one clue, I would say that they created this space.
Dang.
Whoa.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave some suggestions there. But
yo, chat, if you're in the chat, take a guess. Take a guess if you're in chat. Take a guess at what that is.
Honestly, Low Cap Hunter, like, we need you feeding us questions and feeding us information to ask. Yeah, right, Low Cap Hunter is honestly your biggest supporter. I discovered GSD through Low Cap Hunter. I love his content tenaciousness. What do you have to say to Low Cap Hunter in the chat?
Well, I have no idea what he is like in the human form, because we exist over this kind of digital realm. But I would be safe to say that I trust this guy with my life. He is a fucking legend. He is such a hard worker, so genuine, and has just been like so helpful as well. Particularly, I was still very much a newcomer to this space. So to have people show up, who yourselves as well, you can just feel as though there are real people and that they have your back. And so this kind of suggestions and the input that I would not have. Like, crypto Twitter is not an intuitive place by any means, in terms of at least like how things are done and stuff. So I welcome a lot of the people who have helped, not just GSD, but helped me sort of find my way into this at times rather confusing space.
Yeah, and someone's actually asking here, LFXT, what is MCG? Like, at a very high level, is exactly what we're doing now, is just try and help bridge the crypto Twitter gap to mainstream companies. Is kind of how we started, that we're exploring token stuff. Because to me, the token thing, for people who are outside of the industry, they look at crypto and they cringe, but it is one of the greatest coordination engines ever, because everyone feels like they're involved. They kind of have a stake. It's kind of like, it's like when sports betting, it's, you may not be a fan of the team, but you place a $5 bet here, and now you're invested in the game. You're invested in an outcome. You have skin in the game. And I really like that, because people then become your best advocate, your best salesperson. Obviously, there's all the negative sides of crypto. I'm not denying that, but I love that you've embraced this, and likewise, we have all embraced you, Lex. So
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's funny, the crypto space. Like, I keep making these semi-satirical posts about how, like, it's actually pretty easy if you just don't rug your audience, and like, it's actually pretty easy if you just, in some ways, just behave like a good person. And so it is amazing to see the support that we've had for GSD as the token, particularly through this kind of crash, sort of crypto-wide, and a lot of coins either just rugging or just losing all value. BBC Radio women's
That's actually so funny. Oh my goodness. And if you haven't subscribed to MCG_live on YouTube, please do so. We'd really appreciate it. We've worked very hard to put out 400 or 500 videos, and we only have 500 subscribers, so please do that.
So I guess a question I had for you, and if you could share my screen here, Josh. So we saw, the bags kind of picked up on the news of you locking tokens for 2 years. This kind of goes along with what Josh was just saying, just around social coordination, building a community. What does the token mean? Things of that nature. Talk to us about, kind of the news here about, announcing the buybacks, the lock for 2 years. Give us some details on that, but also, like, what's your thinking around this token and how it's affected what you're building?
Well, I think what's been so amazing about it is it's the first occasion I've ever been, and I feel like a lot of people would not have experienced this, but been involved in a token where they know that so long as people have something to trade about, you're doing fine. Like, on some days people sell, that's fine, I get 1%. Some days people buy, I get 1%. But at the end of the day, the fees that are generated support me continuing to create the project that this token is speculating around. So it's in my interest that this don't go to zero. It's in my interest that I don't kill this market for people to speculate on. It's in my interest that I keep providing value so as to give people a reason to want to talk about it. So this is very incentivized for me, because it means I just get to keep working on cool shit. I'm like, what's the coolest and most impressive thing I could add to this on each day? And currently, some of the things that I'm working on, it's like I get this real feeling in the morning when I wake up and I get to just look, okay, what is the AI landscape right now? What is like the big meta in the AI meta? It's like memory. We're adding in kind of like persistent agentic memory to it. Okay, dope. Well, how do we implement this into GSD? And so these are some of the things that I'm working on currently, is just sort of fixing some of the broader ecosystem problems on a day-to-day basis. Every day with GSD. And sorry, I feel like I probably got a little bit off topic here, but
no, you're good. You're good. This is golden.
Tokens. Obviously, about 2 weeks or so ago, I was the third biggest holder of GSD, and I think my tokens were up to about $200 and something thousand if I'd sold them then and there. And so I just locked all of them for 2 years. And I said, guys, like, I'm not here to sell these tokens. Like, my value that I'm getting out of this is not in one quick rug and dash. The value here is creating and maintaining a consistent value in the project itself. So anyways, that was 2 weeks ago. And then this morning I had a bunch more fees in there, and I just thought it might be quite nice to buy another $1,500 worth and then lock it straight away. So just a small reminder to the community that I've got your back, and I'm not doing anything with this. Oh, and of course, one other thing is that we're just waiting on Finn to declare that GSD has, of course, won his $10,000 challenge for the best bag story. I believe that when the reply gets as much, or I believe now, if not more views and more engagement than the actual tweet, that constitutes a win. So once we get that 10K, I'm putting a quarter of that right back in. And I was going to just burn it, but I'm going to be looking into adding liquidity and making more of a consistent effort to take a certain percentage of the fees generated and putting them into things like either lock liquidity burns, or anything good that actually just deflation, like, whatever's good in that case. We're having
Finn recently just followed MCG. So Finn, if you're watching this, we want Lex to win the 10K. And disclosure, I hold GSD, by the way. So there's that as well.
And if you're listening, Finn, come on the show, bro. Let's have
Let's
talk about this story. Let's talk about this GSD story, man.
Bags is great. The app is great. So I know people are following you both from inside crypto and outside as well. Do you have the official Bags app downloaded? Like, how do you claim fees?
I was about to say me, but then I remember there's somebody else here. I have the iPhone app, and I have to say it's brilliant. It really is just fantastic. Like, I can just jump right on it, and then I can jump in here and I can see, let's let it refresh. You can just see let me pull it up. There's just like a big button that tells you how much there is to claim, and it's just so satisfying. I just do this.
We're gonna blow up your screen too, so we can.
Oh yeah, here I'll. Do you want to go for it? You're full screen now.
Okay. Oh wow, that is great. Let's just see. Oh, I might have already claimed them before this call. We'll probably see in a second. We'll pull it back up in a second. But effectively, all you do is you just go in here and you click claim. I'm not going to claim this. This is some fake token that somebody created. There's a bunch of fake GSDs here. I'll stay safe.
Yeah, don't misclick on that because everyone's gonna know.
Yeah, but it's an amazing app, and literally it just goes straight into your Sol wallet. You can then send it right out to Kraken or whatever it is. Somebody recently hooked me up with a guy who works at Revolut. He hooked me up with an amazing situation where now I can send crypto directly from Bags to Revolut and then just pay with like contactless and stuff wherever I am, which is really handy here in Costa Rica because my debit card recently got killed. And so I had no way to actually spend things. And it's just instant now. Like within 5 minutes, I can take my Bags earnings and go and spend it at the shop on my phone.
Wow.
Nuts.
That's amazing. And what do you talk to us about the use of funds here? I mean, obviously this is your private, finances, so don't take it as a question to impede on that, but you're using this as to support your work. But normally companies would take capital in like this and they would use it to hire people and build things and whatever, right? Buy materials. How do you see kind of these fees playing a role in your work?
Well, primarily what was the biggest help for me was that just unexpectedly, I managed to clear my entire debt, from a personal level, which I think just beyond GSD in general, has given me a sense of, should we say, calm that has like tentacled its way into all of the work that I'm doing lately, which I think in general gives me a better chance at doing good work because I'm not sat there stressed being like, oh my God, I need to pay off all the credit card debt that I incurred in my stupid youth. So that's amazing. At this point, now it is just pure profit that comes in. And at the moment, the way that these fees are being used is that apart from the buybacks, and in the sort of earlier days, I was putting a decent amount into like deck screener and all that kind of stuff. People said, stop doing that. It's a waste of your money. Stop doing that. We'd rather you just claim these fees and use them yourself. So apart from the buybacks and the locking and stuff, it's effectively just making it so I'm comfortable enough to wake up every day and just work on this full time. And if, God forbid, everything were to go to hell, I'm in a position where I've never, ever been this comfortable for the foreseeable future, that even if everything went to hell, I could sit down and just keep working on this. And just, it's a wonderful experience to have.
Yeah. So
that I think is going to be changing the way that creators work is to be able to offer people that kind of peace of mind and that spaciousness in themselves to be able to dedicate themselves fully to the work that whether there was an audience before or not in the beginning, they did, and it moved people enough to want to then tokenize it and create a commodity around it. I think this is definitely a core part of how creators will be funded in the future.
Yeah, so kind of dual purpose here. One, obviously support your work as you mentioned, and then do you expect to see instances where you'll continue to do these like buybacks and locking kind of thing like you've done here?
Yeah, one of the other things that I think is key would be providing liquidity. So that will be one of my next things. I know for sure that I can lock tokens. That's cool. I learned what buttons to press to do that now, and all of the fancy fanfare that comes with it. But I think the next thing to look into will be providing liquidity, and then maybe also just like burning the LP tokens as well.
Yeah. And sorry, John, I'm riffing. What about outside of the fees? Like, do you foresee other revenue avenues? Like, are we putting ads on Get Shit Done or something like that? Like OpenAI got clowned by Claude before recently. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the commercials, but they are freaking great.
Of course, that's a great question. Yeah, they were really good, those ads. Right now, there's no plan as of yet to monetize GSD itself. I think what's caused the insane amount of respect and support that we've had for it is that it is an open source framework. And that's meant that we've had tens of thousands of people be able to use it and to be able to provide feedback and support and improvements and their perspective in their 30 years being a senior engineer at whatever company, I think that is the moat. And in many ways is just the community that's been built around it. We started a Discord server a week and a half or so ago, and it's already got like 1,000 something members and just popping off in there with all sorts of people just like having the most amazing conversations about how they're using GSD and keeping up to date with all of the latest and greatest in AI. So I think at the moment that the value is what already exists. I'm not looking to try and squeeze any money out of it in a way of being like, okay, guys, well, if you want to not have like big titty ads and casino flashing banners and stuff, then you need to pay me XYZ. Yeah, for now, it's a meme coin. You know, it's a meme coin whose value is attached to the fact that this is, in my opinion, the hottest Claude Code framework around there, and will continue to improve.
Yeah, chill. I got one
one
more.
Last one. Okay.
Yeah, I got one more. I'm so sorry, my brother. I do. One other token we've covered recently is Loria, which is, I don't know if you know Andy Aries' story, but he created Truth Terminal, which spawned Fartcoin, which was a very viral thing among also Goat Coin as well. Both these tokens ran to 1 billion. Fartcoin ran to 3 billion. It was like the biggest thing on the internet. CNBC is talking about Fartcoin. The Wall Street Bros, SNL. Like, this was one of the biggest cultural moments in crypto Twitter history. He also has a token called Loria, and like you're kind of second to that in turn on Bags just right now. Like, you're in that echelon of Bags, not on Bags creators, but AI creators in general. Just so people are aware that like Andy Airy is like a legend. But yeah, sorry, Jill, go ahead.
I love that. Loria, you said. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
Loria. Yeah,
huge
upward
dude.
spiral.
Yeah, you're upward spiral. I love it. So in the comment section, Josh, there's Harish Reddy 3310. They asked the question: Is this not the GSD Claude Code Git stuff? Real quick, for anyone watching that isn't aware of who Lex is, what GSD is, just real quick run through your story, and maybe afterward kind of talk a little bit about some things that you're excited about for the future.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, GSD with a $sign before it is the token that represents the, as you quite rightly put, the GitHub repo for Get Shit Done. And Get Shit Done was originally just a Claude Code framework, effectively a middleman that sat between you, the human being, and Claude Code's execution. And you can imagine it sort of as a general contractor. That if you, a person, particularly somebody who is not aware of how to build a house, but to just go about trying to do it, you'd probably run into some rather serious issues. You'd end up having to tear things down and rebuild them again. You'd probably get fucked by the electrician, all of these kind of things. GSD is the general contractor that as you go along to this guy and you say, yo, what's up? I want to build a house. And he's like, okay, cool. Well, I need to do all of these specific things. We need to apply for planning permission. Obviously, we need to put foundations in before we order the electrician to come in, all of these kind of things. So GSD is effectively that general contractor that takes your idea, helps you get super clear with it on what it is that you're trying to build, and then implements everything in a step-by-step fashion. This was originally built just for Claude Code, but with the wealth of support that we've had from people using it across all different frameworks, we now officially support Claude Code, Open Code, Gemini, and I believe we're about to officially support Cursor as well. And the thing about this is it's not specific necessarily to Claude Code, because it is just a bunch of markdown files that allow the AI to behave like a professional software developer rather than just some hit and miss Russian roulette. Let's give it a go, code engineers, So yeah, that's what that is. What I'm excited for is the
vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why?
22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Would neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream?
To go away.
To go away. That's great.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Oh my goodness, what a beast, dude. Josh, now you got to take that off. Or you got to either take down the Canadian flag back there or you got to take off the helmet because United States.
Let's go. Let's go. I got my gloves here.
Let's go. Are you
Yeah,
gonna
we're
stream
ready.
You going to stream the whole time like this? I think if
We're ready.
Canada
We're ready
if
to
Canada
go.
had
Team
Josh
Canada,
on the
baby.
team.
Let's go. Let's go.
You can't say Team
That's
Canada,
all right.
dude. If Canada had you and Crosby, and I think it might have made the difference.
Yeah, we were down Crosby in all fairness to us, so
Yeah.
rough go. But
I got some new
you
lighting.
watch game?
I watched. I woke up a little late, man, because I had a very long Saturday night. But I woke up a little late, and I watched the end, the important part. It was a freaking crazy game.
I know Crypto Jones clowned me a little bit with the hockey setup on the thing, so I just had to fulfill it. So you can screenshot this, Crypto Jones, and run
I
it
love
back.
it. I don't know if he's here, dude. He can't be missing out. This is gold. If anything,
Yeah.
we'll.
For those that don't know the context, Canada and the US played a very, very crucial game, and it got mogged on the White House account. Actually, Dom, can you pull up the White House account
Got
real quick?
mogged on the White House account. Oh
Yeah,
man, I haven't seen this.
Oh, dude, go to the White House account. There's the eagle pinning down like a Canada goose or something like that.
Bro, the White House is jokes, dude. I'm not gonna lie. They post some funny
Dude,
stuff.
I'm
They're
not gonna lie. The social content of the White House account is just like
Unreal.
absolute gold.
It's unreal. dude.
Unmatched. It's actually so funny. Oh,
The
my
only stuff
goodness.
I see from the White House account is like their memes. I don't even see like the real updates from the White House. It's just the memes. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
I'm sharing. I don't know. I don't see it's from the actual White House account. Oh, they
Yeah,
posted a
yeah.
lot,
Scroll down.
right here. No,
Oh yeah, I'm trying to add your. Oh yeah, here I gotta remove this.
it's all good. We're
You
gonna get it.
should see it. Oh yeah, here we go. Now we're getting into the Olympic content. Keep going. Should be just below that. Right there.
Oh no. Oh, it doesn't even look AI either. That looks like an eagle actually is just pinning down a goose, man. A goose is
Yeah.
is that your country mascot?
Oh yeah, Canada Goose, of course. Now go to if you look to the right there, they quote tweeted Justin Trudeau when we won the Four Nations a year ago, and then he said, "You can't take our country, and you can't take our
Oh,
game." And then quote tweeted, I was like, "Yo, what? These people
Oh,
are
man.
modern."
No, that is crazy. They did wow.
So there you go, guys. That's the context. It was a great
Absolute
game,
cinema.
though. In all honesty, like your goalie, like did some paddle save, like
I
crazy
mean,
save.
Dude, that guy's insane. That guy's
Yeah.
insane. Absolutely insane. I mean, you guys had double the shots on goal that we had. I feel like
Double.
you guys, I mean, what was the time you guys had the puck compared to us? I just feel like it
Oh,
was.
it was a dominant game. Look, they played a hugely dominant game, but just at the end of the day, hockey's a game of
Politics
inches,
won.
really. And you guys were due. You guys were due. We had won like the last 3 or 4 gold medals, so you guys were due.
Yeah. Well, we haven't won. I mean, we haven't won a gold medal in hockey since Miracle, you know. So,
Yeah.
nonetheless.
day for you, Dom.
No, yeah, big day. I'm not like the biggest hockey guy, but it's electric. I love the sport of hockey. If I, was raised up north a bit longer, I'd probably be playing a lot of hockey, but just not the case down here in Florida. Man, the weather was finally so good down here. I had a nice beach weekend this weekend, so that was nice. Got some nasty, gnarly toes right now. Tore them up playing some spike ball and ultimate frisbee. You know how it goes. It gets kind of treacherous in those trenches.
Love a little spike ball. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dude.
Spike ball's great.
Electric. Nonetheless, we can get into some
Yep.
real deal stuff. Man, I think we have to start right here, right? On CITRINI's article. CITRINI, I think it is. I'd love to get them on. Now that might be a long shot, but if we could get them on and talk through this, that'd be awesome.
Dude, this post was wild.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's quote tweeting. It's 17.3 million views. It's like article season right now on Twitter. If you want to go viral, you spend 100 hours writing some sort of in-depth article about like it's got to be doomer, of course. It's got to be doomer. It's got to be slightly thought-provoking, but not over, too much over people's head. If you spend 100 hours doing it, I think you pop out something good. I will say, though, they've been pretty good about like filtering out the slop. I feel like a lot of the articles doing well are pretty much human ridden at least. But what's up, boys? Jake, Fitzy, what's up? Fitzy, I haven't seen you pop in the chat in a minute, but glad to see you.
Yeah, shut up, Fitzy. Good to see you, Jake. First time I think I've seen you, so what's up?
Yeah, well, I got the article pulled up right here. And by the way, I mean, is lighting looking good? It doesn't look great right here, but I feel like lighting's looking pretty good. I just got the little Elgato Streamlight. I think we're kind of up in the game a little
quality.
bit.
I think you got to make it a little brighter, but yeah, it's
here.
good.
Well, I was toying with it earlier. Let's see. A little brighter. Yeah, it's.
Keep going. A couple more. There you go. That's good.
All right. Yeah. I like it.
There we go.
I just want to bounce it off my face. Either way, whatever. Let's get into this, man. So, CITRINI released this article. It is super long, so I've done everyone the courtesy here, and I haven't read it myself. I've read like bits and pieces, but it's so long. So I've done everyone the courtesy here of our trusty friend Grok summarizing this for us. And I mean, we might as well just start here and read through it.
Go to the one sentence. There's only one sentence here that really is the key sentence.
In this Grok summary, or
no, in the CITRINI, go back to the article. I'll point you right to it. So go down just a little bit to the preface right there at the top of that first kind of right here. So it talks about right there. Read that out.
Right here, the unemployment rate.
Yeah, June 30th, 2028. So this is looking 2 years into the future from this summer. So about 24 months. Read that first sentence out.
Let me zoom in on this too. And I like the theming here, where it's like this is what things would look like in the future. It's pretty cool. But okay. June 30th, 2028. The unemployment rate printed 10.2% this morning, a 0.3% upside surprise. The market sold off 2% on the number, bringing the cumulative drawdown in the S&P to 38% from its October highs in 2026. Traders have grown numb. 6 months ago, a print like this would have triggered a circuit breaker. I could keep reading, but that's the line Josh wanted to harp on. Printed at 10.2%, S&P down 38%. This is what everyone's kind of talking about here, the future outlook. Obviously, reading down further, it kind of explains why there's a lot of in-depth detail on how this happened. But if I tab back over to my Grok TLDR, I think the conclusion is we're witnessing the intelligence premium unwind, right? And so for decades, our entire society has been built off of this intelligence premium. I go to school to be a lawyer. I go to school to learn, high-level taxes. I go to school or, I am an apprentice for a while to learn these very intellectual premium skills, if you will. Okay. And so the TLDR is we're going to be dominated by AI when it comes to intellect, because it just has so much storage. It has so much context. It knows the things we can't. It's not humanly possible to digest this amount of knowledge. So anything that's a skill premium will be dominated by AI. And that's the conclusion. So all of these degrees, these PhDs, unless you have some sort of literal moat and you've built something or built knowledge in something that AI literally cannot compete with, you're in danger. right? And so we see this, like the fallout of software is like one thing they quoted as, a starting piece to it. So that's kind of the conclusion of this whole article. The intelligence premium unwind, right? So if you're focusing right now on things that intelligence, software, coding, taxes, lawyer, like that stuff is all in danger. And I think, they predicted in the next 2 years, that stuff is going to be hit the hardest. So Josh, you didn't have a chance to read the entire article, did you?
No, I saw the tweet and I was like, holy shit, that's accurate.
Yeah.
And
You've been on this way for a minute though.
Yeah. This is something we've been talking about on the show for, I want to say going back to fall last year, or the summer last year. I don't know how you prepare for this. This is scary. It's sad. It's going to hit a lot of people. We're already starting to see it. Is my economics degree safe? Like, it's
Probably
tough.
not.
It also draws into question, like, what's the purpose of humanity at this point, right? So I think this is kind of the big question of our time. We're living through it. I'm trying to dice down, okay, what do you do from here? How do you protect yourself? I think, yeah, what do you invest in that secures your financial future in this kind of situation?
Man,
So,
and I don't know if this is the answer, like, but the best conclusion I have, and I think it's honestly not a conclusion that's great for everyone. I think it's like boils down to the rich are going to get richer, and everyone else is like permanent underclass. But these very historically gated businesses, I think, are going to continue to do well. People that have their footprint already established, right, are going to maybe continue to do well. It's going to be very hard to break in. After our conversation with Roman not too long ago, who's, product EMP building at Impulsor, I think like a decent mode, at least for the short term, is, physical hardware. And again, you see the software taking a hit, but if you can go and find hardware products that are difficult to build, difficult to engineer, I think we have some time before AI gets to it. Of course, ultimately, though, even intelligence is going to go into building robots and humanoids that eventually can maybe make this stuff, and 4D printers to have enough knowledge to make some of this stuff. But if you're an established, dependable hardware company, I think you have some sort of an edge there. So I don't know. I feel like that's like my current, that's where I'm landing on, like, current safety. Also just like, physical.
So maybe I'll ask you this way, and maybe this will reveal some opportunities. Where's the value capture in this scenario? Do you think the value, because obviously if you have that much unemployment and that value being erased, does it unpack in this article where value accrues to? Is it just the major AI labs and then everyone else is screwed? Or is it, kind of like what we're seeing being funded is these startups that are AI enabled that are disrupting traditional businesses?
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, it's a competition between the big labs and countries, frankly. It's literally it feels like the space race, where we just got countries and the big labs all just pushing forward. I think him laid out a good answer to this, right? CITRINI laid out the problem. Here's the solution. We're all on the same page. We can't compete. AI will do things we won't. For example, AI agents will get paid. We won't. Results: economic chain of production / consumption are broken. A labor collapse. The only reasonable plan of action for humanity is accumulate as much capital as you can. The effect is more people speculate, trade, invest, gamble, etc. Results: speculative markets appreciate. Allocate accordingly. And yes, this is true. I think short-term speculative markets appreciate. I don't know. He just made an interesting point. There's a lot of takes on this coming out from left and right field. I don't know if I have the answer. We still got to talk to some people. And maybe that's a question for a lot of the founders we have on. Just, end it off with, like, what is the solution to the impending AI acceleration and takeover,
Yeah. And does value accrue to stuff that's tradable on chain, or is this kind of renaissance we're seeing with ownership tokens mean that some of these investable opportunities end up on chain and, we can see some upside there? I don't know. This is a kind of a scary one. It's something I think about basically most of my time is focused on this. Mental energy is like, what's the solve here? And I just don't know yet. No
Yeah,
one
I mean,
does.
at some point, like it almost feels like you have to play into emotions a little bit, and I think that's one thing that like ownership coins have going for them is people are going to want to cumulatively get behind something and like feel like they're a part of it when everything else is, I guess, controlled by AI, and whether that's them feeling they have some control over the AI that's doing things. I don't know. Shared ownership is maybe something that like gains interest for that reason. I don't know. I'm
You
still
guys
thinking through
think we
this.
see a shift of focus towards academia? Oof. I mean, I think people use
Oh.
academia now to find purpose in their life. Like you see a lot of people go back and do degrees and whatnot and try and pivot. I think that will happen, but like what pays people? That's the thing.
Well, the
Like,
issue with
can you do
academia,
that and make money?
I mean, well, yeah, like I don't even see how we do a focus and pivot back towards academia because AI is going to have all of that information. Again, it's like just a matter of humans not being capable of ingesting as much information and then spitting out a formulated response like AI. Also, like academia, man, it's so silly to me because it's like these guys spend all their life studying and researching a topic, but they're stuck in analysis paralysis. Like they could tell you everything about something, but they never do anything to invoke change or like build something out for themselves. On rare occasions, you do see this, but I think largely academia is just it's in a sad state, in my opinion. So I really don't think we see a shift back towards academia. It's how could you? AI's AI wins so easily in that regard. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, we'll cover it in real time, guys. I mean, that's the purpose
Yeah.
of this show. We're going to navigate these changes over the next couple of years, and we're going to show up every day to find what's investable. Did you see that lobster thing?
Oh yeah.
The AI got begged for money and it sent money. I don't know if that's on your docket, but I think we need to cover this.
It's on my docket, and it's also a new strategy, man. These markets are tough, but it's never too tough to make money. And in this case, all you have to do is start begging AI agents that control money to send you. This is like one of the issues that people have is like a security feature of AI, you know. And I think X1XHLOL has kind of started doing this where it like runs prompt attacks on AI to where you can't really prompt an AI to get some sort of private information or have it do something you don't want to. But yeah, this was crazy. This was crazy. So Lobstar launched last week. I forget exactly what day. Went super dumb, right? The idea is the dude who launched it is OpenAI employee, seeded it with 50 bandos. People are like, okay, this is Truth Terminal. This is what Andy Ara's day, right? He seeded GOAT with 50K, and then we got Truth Terminal Infinite.
Mark Andreessen did, but
Mark Andreessen, excuse me. You're right. Mark Andreessen. Then we got Backrooms, and so much came out of that. Thanks for the correction, Josh. So comparisons are flying, right? Lo and behold, this guy ran up a bag, this lobster, I say ran up a bag, but it really just got a bunch of donations. And here's the result. An AI agent with a crypto wallet just sent $250,000 to a random person who was begging under the AI's X post. New side hustle unlocked. Beg AI to send you money. Look at this. This guy said, my uncle has been diagnosed with tetanus infection due to a lobster like you. I need 4 SOL to get the treatment done. The irony is, what's SOL at? $80? What's SOL at? SOL's at $80. So he was really only asking for $320. He was asking for $320. This AI sent him $250,000. I don't know how it made this mistake, but this guy got $250K. Some people are saying it was engineered. The chart reflected this. I mean, let me pull up the chart. Now, wait till you see this, though, because the bounce off of this was incredible. Incredible. Let's see. I mean, this is back at 12 mil. So here's real time. Here's real time what happened. Boom. We're chilling. Everyone's like, future of finance, OpenAI, blah, blah, blah. Could be the next Truth Terminal, blah, blah, blah. Sends 250K to a random guy. Random guy, one clips 40 bands out of it. Everyone's freaking out. Okay, this is the end. Massive nuke down to, what was this? 4.4 million. Instantly recovers to 15 mil.
It wicked to like 900K, dude.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it wicked down.
Either way, it wicked down a ton.
Yeah. I guess it depends on the liquidity pool you're looking at, or the market you're looking at. But yeah, it went down a ton. What's crazy is I looked at the account that had claimed or had done this, and then I looked at the on X. You can check where the account is based on its internet history, and it was like in Guyana, which I don't know what the GDP per capita is there, but I think 400K is like not only life-changing money, but like majorly life-changing money.
Dude, if an AI agent sent me for 250K, I would stack clip out of this no matter where the hell I live, dude. To be honest, in this market, I mean, I probably wouldn't flush out 200 bands in one clip, but I'd start dumping those. The issue is as soon as you start dumping, everyone else is gonna dump. So it's like,
yeah. So this got eaten up, the dump. I'm actually impressed this is held up so well. What do you think is the play from this point on Lobster?
I don't know, dude. Are they psyoping us? How many employees does OpenAI have? Mark Andreessen at least has Andreessen Horowitz, and this is just like, I'm not saying this guy's not a great engineer or whatever he does for OpenAI, and I haven't researched this enough, frankly, because when I discovered Lobstar, dude, it was 4 or 5 mil, and so I see this, I'm like, in this market, we're seeing if you get past 4 or 5 mil, what's the ceiling
on
here?
Sol
20 mil
for sure.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not even gonna really look into it. So I only saw what I saw on the feed, which was, exactly what I've just discussed. So I don't even really know enough. But what was the question you were asking? What how high this goes?
No, I wanted to know why you thought this recovered. I don't know if I'm trying to look on the timeline. I didn't look at it pre-show, but what are people buying it because those tokens are now distributed, and it's like, they still think the guy can make money for them. I'm just curious what.
Yeah, I don't actually have a very valid take on this, honestly. Okay. But yeah, I think that's part of it. I think clearly there was a lot of sideline. This was the first runner we've seen on Sol since kind of like the base season, I think, really started. And yeah, I mean, that was a significant percent that just got redistributed to the market. I think everyone that was sidelined here saw this, it's never coming lower, buy. And at this point, this is where you see the FOMO start to kick in, where it's like, okay, that was a generational dip. We're not getting lower again. Keep sending it up. And that's when you saw late entrance, of course. And, some of these guys that bought down here on the dip probably scalped it and sold up here. But it's recovered nicely. I don't know. Yeah. But that was a crazy set of events.
Awesome
sure.
Case study. Awesome. And we're seeing these are first in history kind of moments. So
yeah. But should we talk about macro? Okay. Obviously, Josh, you see what's going on with Mexico is under turmoil right now. There's a lot going on. There's talks right now with Iran, obviously, over a nuclear deal, and you're the economics guy, you're the geopolitical guy. So what's your takes?
No takes here. I think we called earlier, going back 2 weeks ago, that this would probably wick down in this area here. So I think we're kind of starting to see that. I think I'll defer to Jones Rita on Friday, and let me maybe pull up Jones's show notes, because he seemed to think we were getting really close to a market bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Jones Rita.
I mean,
and
again,
so
I
agree with I agree with his thoughts here. So this is the show notes, and I maybe we'll read this out and then get kind of react to it. Can you share my screen real quick?
Yeah. Oh, I got you. Boom, you're up there.
So the thing with Jones, Jones is from Left Curve DAO. If you haven't gone and go watch this segment from last week. It's not up on MCG YouTube, but you can go find our broadcast link and go look at this segment. The timestamp is marked at the top here. But he said he's looking for a liquidation cascade down to 62K on BTC to be bought. So this is kind of the key thing here, is wanting to see it kind of spring out of that area and not languish down there and chop sideways, get a good spring. He said, which I thought was interesting, that if we see a fast move to 75K, that there would be pretty rapid profit taking, and that would be very bearish. And that was his kind of point of view. And just look, bottoms take time to form. He thinks that we could kind of languish a little bit until October, where we see the true market bottom, which I think a lot of people would be thinking that's quite painful to do for the next 6 months. So, however, what's got him on the bullish side is just some of the sentiment in the trenches. Good rotation, X402 season, meme coins in January, AI narrative happening now, current positioning. He has some tokens that he's in. So yeah, I think, and again, why Jones is key. I mean, like he called this back when BTC was, 105. If we violate these EMAs, you got to look out below. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, I know. I like this setup. So that's where I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, we're also in such a weird scenario. We see, it's been you can look, it's been indexed, but like the fear and uncertainty levels in general. I'm not talking about like fear and greed index for Bitcoin. Uncertainty levels are the highest they've been of all time, right? Or at least based on how far that graph goes back historically. And, you just got to think these are not signs like the tops never come in when everyone's fearish. Fearish, made a new word there. Fearful and bearish. It's when everyone's excited, peak joy. So we're in a weird spot where like some equities, the stock market is still at all-time highs, but sentiment's been so guttered for a long time. It almost feels like this is when we bottom, not top. And so like that's one thing that's pulling me both ways. I am in agreement here where I think like we're closer to a bottom than a top. But it's just so weird for like the current market to it just never works like that. You never, I feel like if you predict these big market dumps, it never happens. It's only when it's
and what's crazy is I'm seeing like mainstream real estate agents talk about like AI job disruption as like a headwind for like real estate prices and stuff like that, which it's now getting into the mainstream. It's not just us talking about it on the CITRINI thing. It's like actually in mainstream psyche a little bit. So
lines up with the flight to safety. I mean, get your hands on assets. Yeah, it literally goes back to, I think, what we were talking about, Jakey. So maybe not a shift to academia, but definitely a shift towards physical assets or whatever you can get your hands on. Like, I think real estate probably continues to be a safe bet, of course, depending on where you are geographically.
People got to live somewhere, right? So greetings, King Mentality. Good to see you. The year of the horse, too strong. Yeah, well, we'll see. Year of the horse. I asked our MCG China guys, who now stream daily, by the way, what the year of the horse represented. It means good trading. So
no way.
Good trading. So hopefully we see it's good trading this year. With that, we have a new launch and startup fund. And I don't know if, Dom, we can kind of tee that up a little bit because we only have 30 minutes here before we have Omnipair. But yeah, do you mind teeing up maybe
sure.
the startup fund page?
Yeah,
It'd be great to have a quick look.
Well, I have the Eden page up and we'll do this first. So we had Adam from Startup Fund on real quick to give an update. If you guys didn't, see, there was like some sort of turmoil and a team Fairscale got kind of like force liquidated, I guess you could call it. There was like an attack.
The Futarki markets were working too effectively.
Yeah. And so like that happened. We had Adam on to give his take, and he basically teased their next upcoming launch along with some other stuff. And Eden was that launch. We had an interesting discussion. And so like that's a bit of the background, Eden, and they'll tell you all about it. But this kind of spawned from the NFT days, and they created a video game, and it's an interesting conversation because we've seen, it looks like they're partners with Solana Lab along with some others. There's definitely mixed takes on these NFT games, right? We've seen like what was the game that the Bored Apes came out with? Like they spent years and years, and, tens of millions.
Hundreds of millions
of dollars.
I didn't even Other Side or something.
Other
like that.
Side,
yeah. Never even really delivered
as was a tale as old as time for most of these NFT projects. I probably held like 20 NFTs over my career.
Interesting though is the Solana main account is trying to reignite these old categories, and And so they're talking about gaming. They're talking about NFTs again. And we're going to bring them up in a second. Do you want to just really quick pull up the Startup Fund page for this raise?
For sure.
So we have the context.
And shout out Bray for the context, or for Bray for the comment. Catch me in the wasteland. Bray, interestingly enough, your PFP looks like the type of people Josh is really interested in sexually. So that's just funny that that's how that works out. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, let me pull up the Start Off Fund for context.
You're a liability, bro.
Think so?
Holy. Yeah,
well,
just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Here's the Twitter. The Shot episode 5. Obviously, this is going to feature Eden. Okay, so it's already happened. Missed this. To participate. By sending USDC and Solana directly to this wallet. Okay, so you don't even have to, it looks like, go through the Star platform, connect the wallet. You can just send tokens. That's pretty interesting. But let's see how this is doing.
Click on that link. Does it take to the raise page?
Yeah, it does. So they've raised 20K, which is 6% of 300K minimum target. I think I saw 400K maximum or around there, which is interesting. We'll have to see how those dynamics come into play. 65K monthly allowance. This is a nice front page. I actually think with MetaDAO, it's a bit difficult and clunky a bit to find all like the numbers and stuff. This is actually really clean. I'm glad to see it. So there's 1 day left. We got them on the last day. Maybe we get enough to push him over the edge here. 20K raised, average deposit 600. You can see all the information here. So I think with that being said, let's pool them and chat a little bit.
Welcome.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. How's it going? How's the raise vibes going? It's tough raising in these markets.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a great way to put it. No, it's not been easy, that's for sure. But we're working with a pretty big community, and the vibes are still there, which is great and very important, right? Especially in the current market. So we still have the euphoria from last week's alpha when we went live. Everybody's asking about, when does it go live again? So we're focused.
I see the CryptoPunk back there. Your name's Brad Punk. Is your name Brad by chance?
My name is actually Kai. So no, this is this originates from. So we launched a punk collection called the X Punks on XRP back in 2021 in the midst of the NFT boom. So the CEO of Ripple is called Brad. So Punk House is our event. So it was like a play on words. Well, our real name is Kai. Yeah.
Okay, Kai. Well, we got you for 25 minutes. You got to take us from start to finish. We got a lot to cover. So maybe we'll start there. You've been in the game for a long time based on our conversation with Adam. It's what it sounded like. Maybe, as concisely as possible, tell us about your history and how you guys got to where you are today.
Yeah, for sure. So started in the NFT boom, 2021, 8th October is when we launched the Xpon collection. Went very successful. We reached like a 100 mil market cap and a 20K floor within like 4 weeks. It was mad. About 2,500 holders, and we did another collab with Uphold was an exchange about 6 months later, where we generated about, I think, 6,500 holders. So pushing Xpunks. We also we just filled a lot of gaps within the XRP ecosystem because there's not much building activity. Well, back then neither is now. A lot more now, thankfully. But then we decided to move into the marketplace. DeFi kind of took over there. So we're responsible for about, I think currently it stands for about 50% across the collection and the marketplace of all NFT related volume. And we're doing the second most volume still with our DeFi protocol, with like our swap, basically.
Okay, so you guys have a DeFi protocol as well.
Yeah, so it's basically we first started with a DEX, and it was like kind of building around that, and then we took that down, and now we just made everything a lot simpler and just a swap. It actually worked. So first, now we're just embedded basically in the main wallet, which is called Zaman. So if you click swap in Zaman, it's us basically doing that. And on the XPL itself, the DEX is built in the ledger itself on the protocol level. So everybody just builds an interface and connects through APIs, basically. It's pretty simple.
How did you guys get in contact with Adam from Star?
So that's a funny story. So our head of creative, Louis, has a very good friend from high school called Tommy, and Tommy and Adam are friends as well. So we
Oh, wow.
were chatting with them before they launched Star. Actually, gave them a bit of advice beforehand, so like a year ago. And then I was like, okay, yeah, it's hard to find trusted actors in the space, and there's kind of like shady business at some of these launch pads, and especially for a community, we really love their transparent way of raising. So yeah, it was a good fit to reach out once we were ready.
Interesting. The very first thing that comes to mind is, as you probably heard us pre-stream, this was like, every NFT seems to have promised like a video game at some point. And the characters are maybe playable in games. Lots of them got very bad reputations. Seems like you guys actually have a game out ready to go. A financialized game is, I think, kind of
Yeah.
What you're talking about here. How do you guys differentiate yourself from, I think, the typical outcomes we saw with a lot of these NFTs that promised video games?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, funny enough, the X1 collection initially was a free mint. We never raised any funds for Eden either. One thing we did was an NFT sale for land, which was like 3 years ago. And then we did a NFT collection back in May. So we raised, I think, across both, we raised like 400K, and then we invested, well, a couple multiples of that amount of our own funds into it. So our ethos was always like build first, raise second. And as long as our runway was like kind of stretched and we still had some funds to play around with, we thought, okay, let's just extend that until the moment that we can actually first have the people play the game before raising funds, which is what we currently did. So sadly, the market conditions weren't perfect for this, of course. But we did find it very important to just, do an alpha rollout first, as in like, okay, here's a full weekend where you can play the game, see if you like it, and see how many people we can, get in there. To also, it's also good testing for us, and then afterwards we'll raise funds. So I think the biggest differentiator here is that we actually, build first before raising, before doing a token, before setting a token, and just fine tune it that way.
Okay. Talk a little bit about the game and what you guys are offering. Obviously, you have this raise on Startup Fund going live. Can you tell people a little bit about what what you're offering here in exchange for the token and some funds?
Yeah. So basically, Eden is a financialized game. So there's basically three avenues within Eden. One of which we've already built, two we're working on, and third is something that is basically our vision for the next 6 months. Firstly, so we have a casual game mode, which is currently what you're seeing, which is also what we tested during the alpha. Basically, you gear up with a primary weapon or secondary weapon or nothing, and if you don't have anything, you just spawn into the wasteland with a pistol. 20 people play against each other. It's a free-for-all, and then there's loot boxes around, and there's and one main loot box basically, and the goal is just get weapons and get out, and you can do that by looting or by killing others. And it's a very fast game mode. So if you die, you can rejoin instantly. There's no loading screens. You don't have to wait. There's no spectating. So it's just very, very intense because you constantly go back. And obviously, you want to pay back the person that just killed you, especially if you stole your shit. So secondly, it's the tournament game mode, which is kind of the same, but instead of for weapons, you have a buy-in for the lobby. So let's say there's a lobby in tournament mode. Buy-in is 1 soul. Everybody has to pay 1 soul in order to get in. Then this is also where the PvP token comes into play. If you pay in soul, it buys PvP token on the back end, and then if you win, if you kill somebody, they drop their soul as loot. You pick it up. Once you exfiltrate, you get to keep it, and then basically what's gonna enter your wallet is the PvP currency. So this way, there's always more matches means also more buying pressure for PvP. And then it's paid out in PvP, and then you can obviously use it again as PvP, or you can just use it, as an in-game currency to buy assets like loot boxes and that kind of stuff. It's one part, and then the second part is the agentic, basically delegate your play. So in gaming, not everybody wants to game all the time. There's obviously also a lot of people that don't have a game PC or a MacBook. This runs on MacBook as well, by the way. So taking that into account, gaming is entertainment, so we want to take that entertainment and put it into a 24/7 stream where people will be able to basically train their own agent to play for them.
Oh, cool.
And then and then battle other agents, basically in an arena. So it's like a very futuristic version of the Colosseum, and then they just battle it out, and then people that watch the stream can predict the outcome of the bots that are winning, and then everyone can basically train their own agent and battles. Not every battle is streamed, only if you reach a certain elo basically then it gets streamed on a concurrent live stream, and that's only also the way that people can predict on your agent. And then if your agent wins, you get part of the pool, basically.
And how has traction been for this game? I see a few people in here, supporters, talking about their bots, and even Bray mentions here he could get into 10 games of Wasteland by the time he gets a queue for Counter-Strike. Do you have a consistent player base? Is a lot of it bots right now? How is that looking in terms of growth? Just all things there.
Yeah, so no bots, no bots in the game. Definitely on our X account because we're doing a airdrop airdrop campaign, so you get those. But for the game itself, no, there's no bots. It's we've opened the game for 36 hours, and so far we've had about 450 people playing it. And then last weekend, when the alpha was live, we had an average time spent in the Wasteland. So not just having the game open, but time spent in the Wasteland of 3 hours and 13 minutes.
Wow.
Okay. And what do the economics look like, right? I'm buying into this token as a holder. You guys are probably, obviously planning on scaling growth. How are you guys, making money off of this?
So it's very simple. Basically, we have a couple avenues where you have the tournament mode, for example. So there's 10 people play for real funds. If you put in 1 soul and you kill somebody, you basically get 0.9 back. So every entry fee, we take 10%. This way, around, I think the calculation was 1,000 daily active users, play 3 matches for $20 a month. We make like about 300K a month. Good numbers and very scalable. Then secondly, we have the agentic play, boom, prediction markets, all the prediction markets that are running 24/7 at, what was it, like 100 daily active users? No, 1,000 daily active users doing 100 bets per day. We're looking at, about, I think it was 180K a month. So this is how we scale initially with just those 2 facets, because we found it very important that we're not just selling assets to our community and just exhausting that, which you see happening with a lot of games as well. At some point, your community doesn't want more wearables, loot boxes, or whatsoever, which is obviously also an avenue that we are doing with loot boxes, battle pass, aesthetics, that kind of stuff. But we're not pushing it as heavily because our main sources of revenue will be throughout the gameplay itself, which is, tournament mode with buy-ins or the prediction market. And then thirdly, what we're looking to do in the future is also, the kind of the creatorverse play where people will be able to build stuff within Eden, monetize that by, custom SDKs that they'll build shit on top of our infra.
So I guess the obvious question here is, how do you get up to these numbers of daily active users? What's the go-to-market here? Strategy looking like? Is the game pretty sticky? Are you seeing, what's the feedback looking like? What's the go-to-market? I know it's a loaded question, but please help me.
Yeah, no, very important questions, right? And I think that's also why a lot of game studios failed, is because they weren't asking those questions to themselves. And so we've hit with a tiny marketing budget. We've hit, like 450 in a weekend. Which is pretty good, right? And that's just mostly from our own community reach. And while we build out the game further, we intend to grow that through obviously network effects. But one thing that we're currently testing as well is, for example, clipping campaigns, making sure that the game is memeable, getting micro streamers in order to put it on Reels, TikTok, Shorts, get a budget against it, and have clippers basically amplified through their own channels and stuff. And that's a very cost-efficient way. We've reached, I think it was with 1.5K, we reached almost 10 million impressions across channels, which is good numbers.
Yeah.
They're not your target group, all of them, of course, but it's a good start. They're looking at, sorry?
No, finish your thoughts, right? And then
then we're looking at micro streamers as well itself, on Twitch. We have the tournament mode where, it's just a very engaging way because players have something to lose. So I think it's also fun to watch, your streamer when they put up a wager of, I don't know, 5K, and they're playing others. That's a very different dynamic of watching esports. And then so we're focusing, on the acquisition side is going to be more focused on, getting that reach out there, and then the retention, we're using our own stuff. For example, also the concurrent stream 24/7 where people can predict outcomes. And I think that will cause a lot of network effects as well, just by people just, it's just entertainment.
I wanted to ask about these numbers a little bit. When you say 80K, that's not in revenue. Is that just in volume across the platform?
80K. What do you mean with 80K?
So there's numbers, Bray, and I don't know if Bray's on your team or not, but they're saying at 250 daily active users generates roughly $80,000 monthly. At 1K DAUs, it reaches 320K. I'm assuming monthly. These are I don't know if these are revenue or volume across your platform. That's what I'm asking.
Oh no, this is revenue. This is revenue, yeah. And this is just by, so if you take 10% out of a tournament mode where somebody plays 3 matches for $20, so that's $6 per person. If you do that times 1,000, you have 6,000 per day, 30 days in a month, and then you have 180K. So it's a very scalable product. That's what I'm trying to say for gaming, and you can change that as well. Obviously, around to take less fees, more fees. You have to play around with that because you don't know how to
I was just trying to work out the numbers. So you have a 10% rake basically, and then on all volumes basically across the platform, all bets placed.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I talk a bit about target audience here? Because you talked about some impressions. Obviously, for this, your player base, you're not targeting the same kids that are playing like Roblox, right? These people need to have some sort of capital, some sort of money. Who are you targeting? Who is that target audience? Who's been really like digging the game and sticky user base?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So basically, there's 2 avenues here that we're targeting. So you have the kind of entertainment seekers, that love to watch poker, predict, that kind of stuff. So more like the degenerate gamblers, so to say, which is more going to be focused on the agentic play, where people will be just watching these agents battle each other and they'll predict on the outcome, basically. That's one angle. It's a massive market. It's entertainment, stakes, high stakes. Like that is a big side. Secondly, will be the gaming side, which is going to be focused on people that play first-person shooters. There's tons of people out there that are good at shooters, but they can't reach that, the top where it's you actually, play. You have the esport kind of level professional gamers, and that's just so incredibly hard to get there. It's like 0.01% of the gamers out there, but there's still a lot of gamers that are really good at gaming, and they don't have a way to actually monetize their time spent within a game, apart from just being the play to earn kind of mechanic. You just actually have this skill that they'll be able to use in order to battle other people that think the same way. So just to paint a picture, the first person shooter market within gaming, and then I don't mean like casinos, but just like actually online gaming, it's about 35%, and that is a massive market, and it's a massive untouched market within crypto as well, because there's not many first-person shooters out there, simply because it's a very complex game to make, especially if you're competing with the likes of a Warzone, Battlefield. It needs to feel very smooth, especially if you're going into the competitive genre where we are going with the high stakes, right? So that is the main focus was for us to fine-tune this combat. And that's also the biggest form of feedback we got from all these first-person shooter players, that like there's still some fine-tuning to be done, which is fine, but overall the experience is very well.
These numbers you're putting out, very impressive, by the way. Are they based on the alpha, or is this kind of mechanics that you have yet to put in, like the actual kind of transactions on the platform?
So I don't know what you're referring to at the moment. Which transactions are you referring to?
Currently, are people betting? Can people bet on it today? You
No.
Released an alpha version of your game, and I'm just wondering if those betting mechanics are already implemented, or are these coming in the roadmap?
No, these are coming in a roadmap. I think you're referring to that we've done like 15,000 or 17,000 transactions on Solana since we started our campaign. Is that
no? I was just curious if you're already running tournaments and
no.
revenue through.
No, Jet. No, we.
I have another take that I'd like to get from, because this is not a new concept. I used to play a crypto-based game that was very similar to this in 2017. It was almost 9 years ago, which is wild. No one's really broken through in this category. Why do you think these types of games have not really made it kind of to the mainstream in a big way? Because people thought crypto gaming was like a layup.
Yeah, no, I think that the biggest reason was, and it's a very obvious reason, I think it's just that like gamers want to play games that are fun, and they just want to focus. They don't want to focus on the financialized aspect. So if it's a fun game that they can financialize, it's a massive benefit. Look, for example, Counter-Strike, right? Like they have a massive. They're a financialized game because they have this whole economy when it comes to like these skins, right? It's just not on chain. It's in Steam Workshop where you can still trade them. You can make money with them. People hold it. People invest in it. It's a proven concept that works. So what I think with the differences with Web3 is what happened with us is that like there's just not the games focus too much on a problem that wasn't really there. Instead of creating something that gamers really care about, they think it's fun to play, and then based on that solve problems for their own audience. So I think just that not enough games focus on something that's really fun and just adding some crypto elements into there in order to enhance the experience, but they were focused too much on the crypto itself and created a game around that.
This makes a lot of sense. Interesting. Could you tell us a little bit about, and again, just high level, maybe walk through some of your main offerings and help us understand how you're gonna, use this money if you do complete this raise, and how people can be a part of this growth?
Yeah, so the alphas, we've had a pre-alpha. There's feedback. That's what we're currently implementing, and that's what I expect to be done within the next 2-3 weeks. So the majority of the funds would be used to actually do the marketing, get the message out there, and get the first layer of infrastructure ready for the agentic play. Well, people can already play the tournament mode or the casual mode, and enhance that basically. So we're looking here at a roadmap of 5-6 months that I aim to be profitable, which is I think is a fair timeline to assume. And within that 5-6 months, we would be focusing on our revenue generators first, which would be the agentic play, because I think that's an obvious one because it just has a way bigger market and it has lower barriers to entry for everyone. And then, the tournament mode has to be refined, and then we will, have the base layer of the creative first within like 5-6 months.
Love it. We have like 5 more minutes roughly to wrap up here. Could you tell us a bit about the roadmap and what you guys are looking forward to, assuming this raise goes well and you guys get to keep pushing out with this newfound money?
Yeah, so like I said, core focus is generating revenue, because I think that's where a lot of studios just went wrong. It's like we don't want to focus on selling tokens. We won't even have supply through Future Key unless we give the community at least like a 10x multiple. So we would be focusing on just like revenue engines, so that we can keep scaling and building out the team, which is going to be very important. So I'd say 6 months from now, we'd have an the agentic integration where you can delegate your game, you can train your agent, and then you can, have it battle in prediction markets, basically. Then you have the full game that's live. Hopefully we have some extra maps. What we want to integrate as well is more like the 1v1, 2v2 kind of maps where, you have some beef with somebody on X and you settle it in a wasteland, just the good old, Rust days in Call of Duty. And then afterwards, have the beginnings also of the creativerse. I'd say after 5-6 months, this is doable. Create SDKs for builders to be able to create their own creations within Eden, build out basically the Eden city, and start building their own game modes and be able to monetize them where they'll get a part of the cut. And then so that we, within 6 months, we have this sustainable loop of creating content also for our players, not only for entertainment, but also for a player base that, they have this endless content experience so that we can keep their attention, keep growing, and also that they won't get bored.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting angle. I mean, you look at Roblox right now, I would say probably the most successful game out. And I think they've done really well because they cultivated this user base, and then they were like, hey, you guys go and create whatever you want. Obviously, you can take some of that home as a developer. And I think like that's a really good next step. So
Yep.
I like that direction. Is Eden
Really quick. Oh yeah, go ahead, Dom. I do have one question before we hop.
Sure. Is Eden looking to be a gaming studio, or is this going to be, the token here represents this game specifically, or will it also represent future games? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so I see Eden itself more as kind of a layer 2 for gaming. So it's not its own chain, but it's infrastructure, right? It's a layer where people will be built on top of it. So there's going to be multiple experience, and PvP is going to be fueling that. We're not going to launch a new token with Eden once that is done. No, this is something that we keep on iterating on and keep improving for the years to come. Just look at a Warzone, look at a Fortnite. Like, they just keep making content for the same proven experience. And like I said, if you have the creative first play at hand, then that would build itself out. So there might be different game modes, there might be different games within Eden itself, but at the end, we will be sticking to our guns with PvP for sure.
I like your token ticker. I think it's really good. I want to ask a bit about the team. I mean, I ran a gaming studio and I had 10 developers working with me, and it was quite an interesting experience. I found the key differentiator was talent. You really had to have developers who knew how to build great games, and more importantly, actually game loops, which was a skill set to itself. Can you just give us an idea of like who is on the gaming side, crypto to a side? It's like who's actually building the fun in this for your team?
Yeah, so I think the game loop itself, it comes from our creative side of the team, not necessarily the developers. Obviously, it's together with the developers, but the core loop itself has been a product of a lot of discussions and just a lot of gaming ourselves, right? Like I've been gaming myself since I was 6. So once NFT came out, I had this vision for gaming. I thought, okay, this would be a massive added benefit, and this will be very cool to do. So it's just it's a process, right? And the development itself, like there's been a lot of problems within this architecture because it's very different from building a platform or a website because there's so many things that could go wrong and that go wrong, obviously, if you probably know yourself as well. So no, we definitely have some proper talent on board. You can see Tin, he's leading the team here, and they're doing, I don't know what kind of black magic they're doing, but there's like very little latency issues, even if you play with the US versus Asia, Asia with Europe. It's been very, very stable, even with like 120 ping, which is great. And there's no loading screen, so you're just like in, out very quickly. So the stability of the platform and that game to enhance that game loop, because at the end, if you have an hour to play, you want to play for an hour, and in current games, it's just very hard to do because there's just loading screen, spectating, that kind of stuff. So that is the problem that we've been aiming to solve, and that is, them, because they are very good. Because even big studios like, I don't know, Battlefield can't solve those problems at scale.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Dom, I don't know if you had any other questions. I'm actually pretty interested in trying this because there's not been a good crypto shooter out there, so I will definitely give this a go. Dom, any thoughts?
No thoughts. No, I would love to see something like this do well. Do you have any are there any crypto based games that have just really been successes? I'm trying to think of some and I haven't been able to put a finger on one. Have you guys had someone that you're inspired by, or maybe that you could use as like a a case, I guess?
Within crypto or in gaming at large?
Within crypto.
Within crypto, well, I think Off the Grid has been obviously the best example. They've been very successful. They still have I think they're still doing like 4,000 or 5,000 players a day, which I think is massive.
Wow.
And they're doing really well. Game is looking awesome. They keep creating content. Team is very talented. They have an original concept. I think that's very awesome. I was very excited for Shrapnel, but sadly, their team rocked like 3 times, I believe, and now they got bought over by an Asian company. I think they're going Web 2. Not sure, but I was pretty excited for that as well, because that would have been like the first like FPS at skill. I like BR Infinite as well. The team is goated.
I've met the guy at BR Infinite that built it. So we got to wrap here. I think this is an interesting project. You're raising an interesting valuation. Any last thoughts on the raise itself here?
No lost thoughts. I think the tokenomics here are very, very fair. Especially we don't have any, VCs, investors, pre-allocation to KOL. So this is it. Basically 80% circulating, 20% for the team, 20% locked between, FTV multiples. I think the first unlock's at 10 mil and the last unlock is at 250 mil. So it spreads like kind of out there.
Wow.
Yeah. So we want to build this with the community. So instead of like all these other studios, well, not all, but most of them turning their community into extra liquidity, we actually want to enhance them to help grow the game. The only way to do that is to also, get them a good cook.
Nice. Boom. I like it. 10 mil unlock. That's crazy. Good luck. Let's I want to see his success. So awesome.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Yep. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
Wild project. I like low valuation that they're raising. I like that. There's a lot of upside there. Oh, good. Kings. I'm gonna say yes. It's probably just for PC. Brad, really quick, is it just for PC?
Yeah, or Mac. We support Mac as well.
Mac.
Yeah, but it's
Okay,
it's optimized for older models. Like we even support a GTX 1070. We put a lot of heavy stuff into optimization for both like 3-4-year-old MacBooks and very old gaming PCs. So you'll be able to
Okay.
run it pretty smoothly.
Great.
All right, awesome. There you go. All right, let's switch over to Omnipair. Dom, I don't know if you can do a quick tee up there for Omnipair. This is an OG project on MetaDAO. We've been trying to get Rack on the show for a while, and actually super stoked that they're on here in a minute.
I think this is perfect timing because I believe they just went live with their first couple offerings here, which is super cool to see. Definitely one that's been in high demand to hear from, and I'm so glad we got him on. It's gonna be a fun conversation here. Let's see, is OMFG the first? Obviously, there was the other project that ended up getting like they called on the treasury and liquidated at like even price or whatever. But I think OMFG was like the first one that's still here today from MetaDAO. So either way, they put out some good update recently, and I think from what I've seen from the community, like they're very excited from a sentiment standpoint about what's being built here. So Raka, are you with us?
Hey, yeah.
We appreciate you taking some time to come on today. You guys seem to have just put out some recent updates. We'll give a little. We'll start at the top for people unfamiliar with OMFG and kind of get some of the lore, some of the history here, and then get up to the updates that you guys are just pushing as we speak. So, thanks for coming on, Raka. You want to give us a little background on yourself and how you came to founding Omnipair?
Yeah, sure. And thanks for having me, guys. I know it's a bit late maybe, but we actually hands down focused on the launch, and we're gonna get actually to talk more about this. So a little bit of like context about me. I've been in crypto since 2017. I first started in Ethereum, obviously, and actually this is the first project that I built on Solana, and I get a lot of questions about why choose Solana. And yeah, if you're interested, I can also answer this. But yeah, I'm a self-taught dev. I studied science, biology, but I've been coding since I was young, and I love like CS, economics, and cryptography. Recently, when I joined Ethereum, so Omnipair is an AMM, just like Uniswap V2, AMM that is capable of lending its liquidity to borrowers. So it's both of like an AMM and the lending protocol at the same time, and it does not require any like oracles or like human operator to adjust risk in the protocol. So it actually works autonomously, just like an AMM, right? And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, okay, so maybe let's just talk about why you did choose Solana. That was something you said you came from Ethereum, you chose Solana.
Yeah. So first, actually, when I started, I didn't want to choose an L2. I don't really believe in L2s. I think this is just like something that's temporary. And yeah, I mean, yeah, like man, like I've been there since Plasma, if you guys remember this, and like the initial idea was actually scaling layer 1, and down along the road, L2s came up, and I think just Vitalik got pushed into, like, believing that layer 2 will make it. And right now this is changing because, like, I mean, layer 1 actually proved to scale, right? And now you end up with layer 2s, like a lot of them, just like fragmented liquidity all over in capital, even fragmented IB, right? So like, if let's say I wanted to deploy Omnipair on Arbitrum or Optimism, right, I would just be exposed to Optimism users and capital, and it's actually like insane. So it didn't make sense, and Ethereum, of course, made sense, but also I wanted to do leverage, which maybe would require, cheaper gas. Basically, that's one thing, but also Solana standed out because it is one of the most it is actually very good at democratizing like tokenization. So like what happened was Bump Fund entering capital markets, and it's one of the chain that actually, I mean, it's one of the top chain at creating new long tail assets every day, basically, right? Meme coins, and so on and so forth. So Yeah, so that actually seemed like a good bit, and I was just like considering it, and I mean, just like by coincidence, I discovered MetaDAO, right, and Profit, and it was insane because that was actually, I think, the same week they launched the Launchpad. Or
Do you
maybe
remember
like,
when that was? I mean, we really started covering MetaDAO around the Vici raise, but do you remember
yeah,
when that was?
yeah, I think that was maybe April last year, or
April. Okay.
yeah, April, maybe slightly before. And yeah, that's when I reached out to Profit, and I just had like, I just created the account. I didn't have any follower, right? And like he responded. They were actually looking for competent like founders, and I just, like discussed OmniPair and why I wanted to do a sale, because also I didn't have the required funds to, to bootstrap this, because like I'm building a lending protocol, right? I need audits. It's not that easy to, to deploy it and audit it. And actually, that's one thing we really think about a lot is risk, because we are really, I think we are actually innovating in that particular aspect of lending, which is managing risk autonomously without human operators, like or human facilitated operators. So yeah, that when I discovered MetaDAO and they were actually building future keys, which I already knew for some time, and it was like, oh, this is actually being built on Solana. That really actually changed how I look initially at Solana, because I had like different impression about it before. So yeah, this is how it started. We did the raise, obviously, and we just launched 1 week ago.
Yeah, we'll get into some of the numbers and how launch went and everything. I want to go back real quick to the fragmentation problem we talked about. There's so many L2s, even fragmentation across just tokens these days with Pump Fund and the emergence of so many tokens being launched per day. Like, is solving the fragmentation issue part of the mission that you guys have? I remember we saw some people try to do it back in the day on Ethereum specifically. I think FOMO is doing, a lot kind of for solving the fragmentation issue by offering Base, Solana, and I think BNB as well, with like USDC is the native pair that everything's traded in. Are you guys thinking about closing the gap between fragmentation, or are you guys fully focused Solana here? Just curious on your thoughts.
Do you mean fragmentation on like the chain layer, right? Not DeFi.
Yeah.
I think it's out of our scope, at least for the moment. To be honest, I think we don't have any ambition on that specific problem. But we actually care a lot about fragmentation within DeFi. That's what we're actually solving. So yeah, we do. We solve fragmentation, but yeah, on the app layer or like on DeFi layer. To be specific, and let me actually start by telling how OmniPair started, and just some thoughts about it, because I think also we when I first started, I had some ideas in mind, and I had like a specific view on DeFi, and I think that's actually being changed, and it got changed by working on OmniPair. So first, where did the idea came from? So I have been passionate about permissionless lending for a lot of time, because I've been passionate about DeFi in general, but specifically lending, because I had an incident, or like a situation that I've gone through, which I was working for this amazing project. I had team tokens vested, and at the time I had a cliff, and when the cliff ended, I got my tokens, right? And at the time I just had like a financial hardship, and I really didn't want to sell the tokens, because at the time it was like, historically it was at its low, and I was seeing like all the amazing work we're doing each day, and I was like really bullish about the token. I didn't want to sell it. I figured out that, like, why not borrow some USDCs against it, like how I do with like how exactly I do with like Ether or like ETH, right?
Right.
And it was not listed anywhere, right? It was a decent project, it's a well-known project, everyone knows it, but it wasn't listed anywhere. And I'm pretty sure it's not like an Oracle issue. It's a risk issue, actually, right? The market cap was not that big to be listed in lending protocols. And at the time I discovered the project, it's called Ajna. I don't know if you know it or not, guys, but it was a little bit known in Ethereum at a specific time, but it is one of the good permissionless blending protocols, but it actually failed to reach BMF. And me myself, I couldn't use it. I just didn't understand how to use it. I didn't understand the risks as a borrower, because like it literally changed. It was not like Avi, like Compound, like any other lending protocol. It just like changed it, impaired the borrower and lender experience a ton, and it was very hard to actually understand, let alone use, right? So it just failed. But they did it, right? They actually did it, but no one used it.
And this is allowing for people to borrow or lend
Using
pretty much any asset.
Yeah, exactly, permissionlessly. But you couldn't find any liquidity in there. As a borrower, you just didn't find liquidity, right? Because lenders didn't use it. And the reason, I can talk a lot about it, but the reason I think it's actually made lending an active management, and it made it actively managed. So lending usually is just passive, right? You as a lender deposit into some vault, or in the case of like Avi, isolated pools or cross margin, but you just like lend your assets and leave it. You don't manage it, right? It's like Uniswap V2 LBing, except that it's one-sided deposit, not two-sided deposit, right? And you just get passive. But in Ajna, you needed to actually manage it, because the price were basically chosen by lenders. So you as a lender need to be in range. It was actually very similar to how concentrated liquidity market makers work. So yeah, it was just like very different. Even the borrower experience was like very bad. So yeah, I just thought about this, right? Like, and I tried some stuff as well, and I understood that this is actually a very hard problem in DeFi. And regarding the demand for it, if you guys went to our documentation, we have a problem page that basically go through like the problem in liquid numbers mostly. So actually the demand for borrowing using any asset is huge, because like this is applied to, I would say, like in Solana it's like 70% of the volumes on AMMs, even more than this, comes under 1 billion market. It's like 95% of the volume, but I think it's like 70% for assets under 100 million market cap. So that's basically the majority of tokens, right, are not integrated into lending, and you cannot short it, you cannot long it, right? You cannot do anything with it aside from just trading it in the spot market, like in AMMs, right? So I just had the insight of like, we need to do permissionless lending, but we actually need to keep the same experience people are used to. We should keep lending passive, and we should keep borrowing exactly the same as any other lending protocol, obviously. And this is basically the insight, and this is how it started, right? And to be honest, just the AMM idea, it was like, I was chatting with a friend. He's also a builder, and we were just like laughing, like, why not just lend some liquidity out of an AMM, right? And it started there, and it's like, it was fascinating, because like the more I researched it, and I just like was fascinated that no one even tried to do so, right? It was crazy, because I will tell you why. If you guys look back at how AMMs and lending like originated and developed in DeFi, they basically started at two very separate things. You have like AMMs started with Banker, like Uniswap, just for solving them, like to creating a spot market or like an on-chain exchange without relying on, off-chain market makers, right? So to do it autonomously, and they did it by the constant product formula. And for lending, it started with like ETHLend, Compound, which was just unlocking lending for borrowers. And I think the innovation in Compound was just like the on-chain interest accrual and the C token design. And since then, like each one of those just like kept evolving in its own separate path and never intersected. And no one actually, saw AMMs and lending protocols intersecting at any time, right? But I will tell you like what is the problems for each one. So AMMs, and still right now, faces a huge problem in capital efficiency. Basically, most of the liquidity that sits in an AMM don't get utilized. I mean, the volumes that don't cover 100% of the liquidity, it just covers like, I don't know. I mean, there's a project called Amalgam, and they are actually, I think, trying to build something like what we are building. And they did a great analysis about like liquidity, utilization in AMMs. And I think just like the numbers were, 70% to 90%, depending on the on the pool itself, because sometimes you got like stable pairs or like, long tail assets. So like it's different from market or like a pool to another. But yeah, it's like 90% to 70% of liquidity just sits there and don't earn anything and just don't get utilized, right? So that's one cool thing.
Is that because it doesn't hit the price bins for that liquidity, and so there's no fee to be earned?
I mean, that's actually I think it's more complicated than this. It's really because I think it's actually very fundamental that the volumes does not actually rely on 100% of the underlying liquidity. So like if we talk about like V2 pools, you have actually a lot of problems, right? Because of how you fragment the prices on the infinite like price line of prices, but also for concentrated liquidity, it doesn't make it better. Maybe actually it's slightly better, but I think I just don't like the fact that in concentrated liquidity AMMs you need, like, I mean, LBs needs to actively manage the liquidity. And also I think it's just BVB, because like what if all liquidity providers just choose the same tick, or it becomes basically exactly as V2 pool, right? It doesn't.
And so just so I understand the problem you're solving here is you're saying that, hey, look, you might not earn fees on your locked liquidity in an AMM, but we're also going to add this other ability for it to be lent out on top of it, also providing liquidity as well.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like a dual usage for the liquidity itself. So
Exactly.
if I'm an LP, I put 100 grand in, I'm earning fees on trading activity, but I'm also potentially earning fees on someone like Dom saying, oh, I need to, loan $5,000 for, and, I guess Dom is staking his tokens on the other side as collateral.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. So it's just like, for like from an AMM perspective, it just makes the AMM more capital efficient, because now we use, the typical 20 to 30% of the liquidity for the swaps, maybe even a lot less, a lot more less. But on the other side, like the majority of liquidity, maybe for some markets, will be lent out. And you as an LB, you get swap fees. And on top of it, you get also the interest, right? The lending interest.
Yeah.
Which actually solves, like, I mean, in my opinion, it solves like the AMM issue, right? And if you take a look at the other side, like the lending protocols issue, I think the biggest one is you have a lot of issues, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, and a lot of room for optimization. But let's just talk about the critical one, which is blending protocols being permissioned. And this actually in too many ways. One, it's permission because it uses Oracle, like external oracles, right? So like if you have some asset that doesn't have an Oracle, usually it will not list it. But also it's permission because it relies on humans managing the risk. I mean, it's like basically an AMM versus like, Binance, like CEX, right? So it's basically like lending protocol got some risk group that decide based on some risk parameters, right? They decide what asset to list and how many cap to assign.
But this is really important to security, because if I can basically say, my asset is worth something by spoofing an Oracle price or something, I could drain, the lender's money basically.
Yeah.
So maybe explain how you do this in a secure way. I'm really curious about your security here, how you not securitize, but how you secure these loans.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Because it's not as easy as, just allowing anyone to list any asset in a lending protocol and just like expect it to work. And we have actually some good experiments, I mean, that tried to do it. And it failed, right? so we know that that doesn't work straight up. So the approach of Omnipair is risk should be actually managed autonomously as well as the exchange itself. And what we ended up doing is adding dynamic LTV or dynamic collateral factor, which basically uses the same XYK invariant that the exchange use. And let me explain this in a little bit. So when a borrower wants to borrow some assets from the AMM, usually in lending protocols, you just have like a fixed LTV pool wide, right? I mean, some human operator decided for that specific asset, and the lower it is, like the more usually the more risky is the asset, right? And you want more collateral to cover the debt. So in Omnipair, we actually don't rely, we don't do it. The LTV itself gets decided for each borrower,
and that's loan to value, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's loan to value.
Yeah.
So let's
So
say
what is the you don't have an LTV like threshold?
We actually have it, but the thing is it's not global per pool. It's actually assigned. You get it assigned when you try to borrow from the AMM. So let's say you try to borrow 10% of the liquidity in the AMM. The AMM will actually decide an LTV for you, and this will be fixed after you borrow. So it's more of like, it's exactly the same as price impact in a swap. So like now you want to borrow, you get a specific LTV based on your loan size relative to the liquidity itself and the market condition as well, right? And I mean, this actually, we have been running for 1 week, and even before that, we have been like in 4 months on mainnet actually, but with an audited, non-audited, I mean, deployment, and it's been working great. I mean, this is actually proven to work, which actually fascinates me as well, right? And it's more complicated than this. I mean, the technical aspects of it, but just like in general, for the price, we don't use the spot, obviously. We just use EMA, which is just like a better TWAP, right? And for the LTV, we use dynamic LTV. We use dynamic LTV that gets based on how much are you going to borrow, what is the existing debt in the pool, right? Usually when the pool is very utilized, and you get to borrow more, usually the LTV will be lower and more conservative. And this actually takes into consideration price impact of your liquidation as a borrower, because we don't rely on any external markets. And I will tell you like an example for this. So for other lending protocols, when you want to liquidate someone, usually you require the liquidator to bring liquidity from outside the system and repay some of like the debt to get the collateral, right? But for Omnipair, actually, we don't do that. We do write-offs. So when you want to liquidate someone, we are liquidating him inside the AMM itself. I mean, so we just basically get the borrower collateral, the amount to be liquidated, and dump it in the AMM, and just like remove the debt. And it will, like, if you think about this, it looks like actually a swap, right? So it's very interesting how like swaps and lending intersects in this aspect.
So I want to break this down into simple terms because it can get deep DeFi mechanisms.
Little daunting.
So the LTV, what ratio are you doing those loans? Is it 50%? So let's say Dom has MCG token, which doesn't exist, everyone. So Dom has MCG token. Let's say he has $100 of it. He puts it into Omnipair. Is he borrowing $50 out, or is he borrowing $20 out? What's his loan to value ratio?
Assume the market cap's 100 mil.
Yeah. Okay. Don't worry about the market cap, just the value of the tokens he puts in. Let's not complicate it any further. At what point is his position turned into, that swap, as you would say, or is like rights to it are relinquished and the tokens then are taken? Like, I'm just trying to see how you reconcile that process.
Yeah, sure. So first you need to determine like the collateral value the user is adding. So first, what is the price of MCG?
$1.
$1.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's assume it's $1, and you are depositing how much? Like how much tokens? You are depositing
He's
1,000.
depositing 100 tokens at
Okay, 100.
$1.
Okay, so this is valued at $100, right?
Yeah.
So basically, LTV is very simple. It's also called collateral factor. Is like if you got a 50% LTV, that means you can borrow 50 USDC, for example, on your 100 MCG if it's valued at $1. Yeah, so let's say now, instead of wanting to borrow using 100 token, you want to, let's say, you want to borrow using 100K tokens, right? So what you would expect is it will not be 50% LTV. It would probably be like 40% or maybe 30% LTV. So the more your loan size get bigger relative to the pool, and we actually calculate the risk and assign you an LTV that basically take risk into consideration for LPs, right? And when we do liquidations, is basically when you, let's say that your MCG price sadly went down to 90 cents, right? So now if you borrowed the full amount, the $50, your collateral value will be less, right? And now you'll be liquidatable. So, and how we do it is we don't obviously liquidate the full position. We just liquidate amount of your debt just for you to get back to, like the healthy threshold again. So let's say we're gonna liquidate $5 or $6 from your position, which brings you back to, let's say, 90 MCG instead of 100 MCG.
And you're not liquidating, you're just putting it in you're basically, it's already in the pool. You're just like removing his ownership and transferring it to the pool.
Exactly. You're just transferring the locked up collateral back into the pool. So this is actually, I used to make fun about this, but this is like, you can describe it as like delayed swap, optional delayed swap. It's basically when you borrow, if you get liquidated, you execute a swap in the future, basically.
Right. And so how do you like get the USDC back? Like, how do you get USDC back? If he's taking 50 USDC out, are you then taking that MCG tokens, which don't exist, and you're then going to an AMM somewhere like a Meteora pool, or if it's trading on Radium, which it would be obviously traded on Meteora. But if you, and then are you selling it in that pool?
No, we actually, it all originates and happen in an OmniPair AMM. So if you want to take a loan against your MCG, you head to an MCG USDC pool, and you just add the MCG to the pool, and then you can unlock or borrow the other pair token, which is USDC in that case. So it's isolated. Each pool offers basically two types of collaterals and two types of the token. So you can add MCG, borrow USDC, or you can add USDC as collateral and borrow MCG. And when you actually do this, like if you add MCG and borrow USDC, now you're longing MCG basically, especially if you leverage it, like you looped it multiple times. And if you do the opposite, you're basically shorting MCG. So when MCG, because now you borrowed MCG, right? So if MCG, value went down, you make more profit because now your debt is worth less, and when you pay it, you unlock. You need to pay less to unlock your collateral, basically.
I want to really get the framing here from you as someone who's thinking about DeFi, in a very meaningful way. And I even think back to you have Revolut, you have the emergence of these neobanks, and there's just so much advantage to having some of the opportunities that DeFi enables that Web 2 and traditional finance hasn't really enabled yet. How are you thinking of DeFi in terms of the future? What will the future look like when this kind of becomes more normalized? Is it going to redefine how the banking industry works? Just really want to hear your grand vision.
Yeah, I think when that's actually a good question, because when I first started, I didn't really think about this in this broader, image. I just focused on permissionless lending, right? And to be honest, when I was working on OmniPair, the more I think about it, I kind of have this opinion right now that DeFi is actually not really decentralized. I mean, it's decentralized, of course, but it's not permissionless. Because actually, in DeFi, you just have access to permissionless spot exchange, right? And nothing else, right? If you guys check, the top lending protocols in any chain, you will be amazed about how how many collaterals are supported relative to the available tokens or assets in the market, right? In let's say in an AMM or like a spot exchange. So actually, what we have like defined now is really way. The way I look at it is actually it's very primitive, in opposed to what we actually think of, to be honest. And blending is actually a very important financial building block, because like it is it is fundamental, because this is how like have access to margin, to leverage, can hedge using leveraging. So this is really the finance, or this is really finance. You need lending to have finance, in my opinion, of course, right? If it's just like if it's just like spot, it's just trading, right? Spot trading, and that's it. And I think OmniBid is going to change this. And to be honest, like, yeah, I'm just so excited to see how this unfolds and how it's going to work. But yeah, I think in the future you will be able to leverage and short sell any token, even with maybe conservative or low LTV, but it unlocks something that's I mean, up to date. It's not unlocked anywhere. So I think it's very important. And regarding your question specifically, like the way I imagine it is like if you integrate OmniBid as an infrastructure with other new banks or whatever the protocol that you can build on top of it. I mean, you can have a lot of use cases. Let's say, for example, sometimes I think just like I have tokens, right? I have like OMFG tokens, and let's say I don't have access to like stables, right? And I just want to pay, I don't know, like my bill or want to purchase something, and I just don't I don't want to sell, right? And like it will be as easy as like using this new bank or card, and just like add my token as collateral, borrow some USDCs, pay, and then figure it out later and repay my loan and give my tokens back. Right. So I mean, this is like really empowering, and I'm excited to see it in action, especially for Solana. You get like all the launch pads, all the long tail assets. For the first time, you can now short it, right?
Yeah.
If you want it.
No, right, absolutely. I want to kind of pivot here because I think we've got a much better understanding history. We've covered a lot of that stuff. You guys just launched your app, right? And I actually have this tweet pulled up here. You can see OmniPair Beta is now live on Solana at omnipair.fi. How has that been? How has the interest been? What feedback are you seeing?
TVL metrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, we just launched 1 week ago. It's audited. But we have like around 250k TVL right now, and around like 50k volume for that week. OMFG USDC pool got 100% APY, and this is actually just the swaps APY. It doesn't even involve the interest yet. we will add it in the coming days. So I think it went fine. For me, actually, I don't care about TVL for the first week or two, because we are really thinking about risk here. We don't want to push TVL aggressively during these times. Yes, we are audited. We have some security metrics in place, but still we think about risk a lot, and it's not battle tested yet, of course. And anyone using it, it's still in public beta. It's not like used with caution. It's still new, right? So yeah, we are just like bringing partnerships for liquidity cautiously, doing it slowly, trying to monitor how it works. Up till now, actually, we got like around 15 liquidations, because a lot of people used OMFG as a collateral and borrowed, and the price of OMFG went a little low in the past days. So some people got liquidated, including me. And I mean, and liquidation worked. We didn't get any bad debt. I mean, it worked just as designed. So it's actually great to see it working in action. And I think just like, the coming days, we will just focus on monitoring it, maybe adding more TVL just slowly and see how it goes. And we, aside of also shipping stuff for security and also for like quality of life features. But the next priority is actually leveraging and bringing leveraging in the UI, because right now we can leverage manually, but it's just like, it's painful. So we're gonna do it automatically. So you just like, yeah, you expect the burps like experience in the app basically.
And how do you sorry, we'll get to this Crypto Jones question in a second, but do you get like, does your pools get discovered by like aggregators and does swaps get routed through it and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually not yet. The 50K
Not yet?
volume, we did it. Yeah, we did it just like arbitrage actually.
Okay.
Helped us, which is not the best thing, but I think yeah, we are right now actually in talks with like aggregators, and I think this is a priority for us to integrate into aggregators because that's when
hit Crypto Jones question next. Yeah, that was good. Okay.
Crypto Jones says it sounds similar to Ave. Ave, do you use your health bar? Do you use a health bar rate, or how do you manage margin calls?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, of course there is a health factor, but actually it's not similar to Avi because Avi is gross margin. I mean, you can add multiple collaterals and use it for the same portfolio, right? As assets to borrow any liabilities or borrow any debt in any token. We are actually isolated pools, so you need to manage each position in one collateral and for one the token. And I think this, I mean, the risk. I mean, it's Avi is like more efficient in that sense, but also it's more risky for lenders because now, I mean, and obviously for us, we couldn't just make gross margin because like now you're gonna have like as a lender, you're gonna be lending your money to like pools that like tokens that you have never seen before, and people just create it right now. So it's isolated pools. It's not very similar to Avi actually.
If I was a DeFi user and I have, a few different options out there, maybe like Aave or, Camino or some of the other protocols, whatever you want to, there's so many. If you could give like a one-line elevator pitch on what sets you guys apart that you think would resonate with the average person, what would that be?
Yeah, two messages actually. For borrower is expect to find collaterals that are not present anywhere else outside of OmniPair. And that's it. You will find your shit token, you will find your meme coin, you will find your very respected token in there listed as a collateral. You will not find it in Avi or Camino. They can't do it. And for LB is, I mean, you can use the same liquidity you have on like Meteora or like any AMM like Orca Radium and gets basically more yield on it. There is actually more risks because now you got faced with defaulting risk that comes with lending. But I mean, yeah, your capital becomes more efficient and you make more yield on it.
Can you click into that?
Sorry, and I just want to say it's actually passive, so you don't need to actively manage it. You just add collateral and yeah, you get the yield.
Josh, you were going to say something?
Go ahead. This is actually more around my next question is the fees. But
yeah. So Jake, who's in the chat right now, has made this post. He goes, current leverage protocols are killing users with absurd fees, like 0.46% daily. Imagine in a sideways market. With OmniPair, I think I'm slowly starting to understand it. 1% borrow rate per year, permissionless leverage on any token, no oracles, unified pools for swapping / lending / margin. Example, 1,000 USDC position costs $1.67 in fees over 60 days versus 600 on competitors. You know who you are. Now I was thinking, if / when leverage drops and staking pools incentivize hit, double interest accrual on-chain liquidity for the trenches might genuinely go insane. I'm finally starting to see the vision. And damn, OMFG. Do you want to talk a bit about the fees and how you guys are standing out in this aspect?
Great ticker, by the way. It works.
Yeah, it stands for OmniPair Future Key Governance Token, just for your information. So
I understand why you needed to consolidate that one a little bit. OmniPair Future Key Governance Tokens is quite a mouthful.
Yeah. I just want to say something very quick about this exact tweet. I think the 1% borrow rate per year isn't actually isn't quite right. You shouldn't be paying 1% borrow rate per year on borrowing using Meta or OMFG. We actually changed it we did like a recent change to the default interest rate controller that bumps it up because we have a slightly different interest rate controller. It's not a curve, so it is actually market driven. It does not, it does not encode like specific utilization point and interest point as some other lending protocols do. Because for us, we like, I mean, for some tokens, you may be expected to pay, I don't know, like 500% a year to borrow using this specific token, right? So I think just to start, probably it will be more about around maybe 20. And that's actually very good because like we will offer collaterals that will not be listed anywhere. So you expect the borrower price sensitivity to be very low. I mean, they will be willing to pay more to be able to use that specific token as a collateral, right? So I just want to say this. So, and regarding fees, it's actually very interesting. We the protocol charges two kind of fees, of course. One on the swap fees, which is 10% right now, and I think the same on interest, accrued interest, and this goes right to Omnibird Treasury, Omnibird DApp Treasury. There is no fees that goes to the team or something like this, and all of this is configurable, so anyone can actually create a proposal to change it. And actually, the fees itself, the swap fees, is market driven. So the deployer of the pool can basically set this. And I will tell you something very interesting that I was just thinking about. Omnibet can actually create or have zero swap fees pools, which is like very interesting because like LBs will still make it through the interest, right? And I think for other AMMs, you don't have this, this ability to charge zero swap fees on swaps, right? Because also impairment loss. I mean, this is actually swap fees is a very important topic on its own because it's related to impairment loss, and this is something that we are thinking about right now. And this brings us to like what we are working on right now and what we are dropping next. So we are just focusing on shipping leveraging, and what comes after is actually trying to tackle the impairment loss issue. And because now we unlocked blending, which is a good primitive for hedging risk. So we are searching for a native solution for LBs to be able to hedge like impairment loss, which is like, this will be like, a killer thing, because impairment loss is like a very nasty issue that actually, I mean, makes any LB very, very scared of, right? And this should be actually, right? And can eat all of the profits, all of the yield, or whatever. So yeah.
Crypto Jones has another question. He goes, not a fixed borrowing rate. Doesn't that make the short positions unmanageable?
Yeah, I think we just don't do fixed borrowing rate because this actually brings us back to what you said before, which is what makes a borrower pays back their debt is interest rate is one thing. It's used for pricing and it's used for paying back that cost of capital to lenders, but also it's used to shrink back existing debt. So let's say you get a lot of utilization, right? And now you end up of zero cash or like zero liquidity being in the pool. LBs will not be able to withdraw, which is an exit liquidity. It's called like exit liquidity issue in lending protocols. So also interest works to kind of incentivize people to repay back their loans and kind of have more liquidity for LBs to exit again. So I know this is not like the best experience, but this is actually not exactly what we're trying to do. I mean, Avi is not fixed rate and still it's working. A lot of lending protocols is not fixed rate. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's different, but yeah, we are just like, we're not thinking about this right now. So, but yeah, maybe in the future we will think about it. I mean, yeah.
So it seems like you guys have found gaps in the market and you're building a business to, have solutions around this, make things more manageable for traders and more appealing. The question becomes, what's the go-to-market, right? If you truly have a better solution and you have a product that edges out the competitors, how do you guys take this to the market and get them to participate?
Yeah, I think for borrowers, there is also already like a demand for it. Once we got liquidity, borrowers will come, especially with leveraging. It facilitates it. It drives utilization up. I think the main issue is the liquidity and how we attract liquidity. And I think actually Omnibird does very good job at being a very good pitch for existing LBs because I think it's very easy to attract capital from other venues and into Omnibird because the USP is just like, you'll have your LP and OmniPair, and you will get more yield. And that's actually very compelling to say. So that's actually the go-to market. We have some ideas and some stuff that we can do, but yeah, right now we're just like preferring to be more slow and just like monitor the situation basically. But yeah, I think it's very easy to market for OmniPair. I think it's not hard to market for OmniPair.
So I have a question for you. That's maybe
Sure.
maybe a little bit more, a little bit further out. But have you guys thought about doing some sort of DeFi mechanism for prediction markets? I know there's some longer term prediction markets, and there's lots of liquidity there. I can imagine some people would love to earn, trading fees and yield on these prediction markets. Is that something you guys have, thought of, or maybe borrow against a prediction market position, hedge themselves? Like, have you guys discussed this?
Yeah, I think we actually at some point, I actually completely forgot about this. We didn't have, like, we don't have it in our roadmap yet, but we just like had some initial thoughts about it. And I think, yeah, anything that can be tokenized can be actually used to borrow against, and can be leveraged. So yeah, I think we called it tokenized markets. So basically, the whole market can be tokenized into a token and can be used as a collateral. So I think there is, and I'm not really sure. I've seen some projects that do it. We will not be. I think we will not be the project to actually implement it. But once it's there, it's going to be supported in OmniPair day one, because like we literally support any asset, right? And this is actually a huge opportunity, to be honest. Yeah, that's actually a very good question.
Can we talk business economics a bit too? I'm not sure if you guys have made any projections or anything like that, but I would love to know some of your thoughts about how you're going to drive more revenue to the protocol. And of course, this being an ownership coin, people will see some of the value and upside of that.
Yeah, I think we're still early for this. We do have some numbers, but it's very low to make projections yet. It will be premature to do it. But yeah, I think in the coming weeks we'll be able to drop some projections and kind of have a better idea about it. But mathematically, I guess it will be more revenue than any other AMM, because basically using the same TVL, I mean, assuming the same TVL, you make more yield because you solve the capital efficiency fundamental issue, right? And now you make more yield using same liquidity.
Are you going to AMMs with this proposal at all, and like talking to them about this, educating them? What are they saying about this?
We didn't really talk with AMMs yet, but I think actually, I'm not really sure how to answer this, but yeah, we are just focused on the product right now, the protocol, getting it to work right. And I think, yeah, I think obviously it will change things if it worked the way we imagine it to work. But yeah, I'm excited for the future anyway. it's yeah.
Well, we know the importance of security audits and how people feel comfortable and making people feel comfortable when they have money lended or borrowed on a specific platform. You have a proposal here for the OMFG 002 fund to fund security audits, it seems. Maybe we'll walk through some of these proposals you guys have up at the moment. And can you talk about, are you guys audited at this point? What's the
sure. Yeah. We actually have, we actually did the audits. We did 2 audits. One was Offside Labs, which was like just line by line traditional audit. And we did fast testing with Aki's blockchains. And I think we have done a very good audit. we have spent like around 3 months in it. And let me share, it's 1 second. Let me send you our GitHub.
Sure.
Okay. Because we have like the repo is actually the protocol code is open source. Anyone can verify it or see it.
We'll check that out. In the meantime, I see you just pulled that up. Maybe educate people real quick, because Crypto Jones said, what is a token utility, or how does that accrue value? And of course, you are an ownership token that uses Futarki. Maybe just briefly give everyone a quick
I
idea.
think you already covered that pretty much. I think, I think just like the OMFG token is the governance token. It got ownership right to all of our IP, like code, domain, all of this stuff. It's also used to govern the protocol, right? Setting like the broad configuration for like the revenue, and it's also all the revenue goes back to the treasury, and the DAO is responsible for allocating it however they see fit. So yeah, basically OMFG holders own Omnipair in every and any way.
Thanks for that clarification. Okay, I'm on your GitHub. So where can we see the audit? Right here. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, if you go back to like let me a second. 1 second. It's under audits. Let me actually send the exact one. All right, here you go. And we also got like a security page in the app, so it goes like the audits. And we have right now like a little bug bounty. It's not disclosed yet, but actually it's very important. If someone finds an issue or like a vulnerability, should I mean we will be welcoming any reports of this kind. You don't have a disclosed bug bounty yet, but we'll be offering one if you got like a report. And on Explorers, you can find our security page and BGB key. If someone wants to report like the vulnerability in an encrypted way, they can use this key to encrypt the message and just send it over to security@omnipair.fi.
Got you. Yeah, I can see this audit here. Man, audits, I feel like, and I don't know specifically what you guys have to pay for this, but I feel like audits are so expensive. They're so time consuming. Like, obviously, then you have to be tedious, meticulous about this kind of stuff. But why is it so? I feel like there's so many people that do audits and you have like so many options. But why is it so expensive, meticulous?
That's actually a very good one, because I think even that's why this is actually the first reason I raised, because I wasn't able to afford audits, and it's very important. Aside from other things, of course, but yeah, because you basically write code that holds money, right? And it can hold up to billions in some cases. So I mean, you need someone with very good security background to audit it basically for you. And I think the very good report to check is Offside Labs. I think they have done a great job in it. They reviewed all of our like invariants and fundamental assumptions, and they came up with a lot of like economic attacks and that sort of things. And you can see a lot of like the vulnerabilities here and their fixes, but they have done actually a great job. And even giving the initial agreement we did for the money, I think we actually got more more advanced audits regarding what we actually paid. It's insane to say that, but they actually did a fascinating job in it. And but yeah, saying that's like being audited is not being secure. That's two separate things. We're not battle tested yet. We're still in our early days. So yeah, use with caution. And if you find anything, just get to us. We are actively, we're 24/7 basically active in Discord. So yeah, reach out to us, and we will help. Or if you got any vulnerability that you discovered, if you're like a security researchers, we will work out something.
Yeah, as I think we kind of wrap up, I think we've got a really good idea. Maybe talk about the post-launch quarterly plan that you guys have laid out, and maybe what you guys plan to do next, what's coming.
Yeah, so we obviously spent the first week, like just the past week, working on fixing some of the launch issues. We had a lot of issues in the front end, and a lot of people actually a lot of people actually helped us in figuring out those issues. So we allocated our time to this. I think right now the app is more stable. It's more usable. So but we didn't run into like any major issues. And what is coming next is we have basically there is several tracks. So one of them is like mostly integrations. and specifically in aggregators. This is one of the most things that we need to do, because like this really makes omni-pair pools accessible to the market, right? And it's just like it's very critical for us to have. And we have done a good job in it, but we're still working on the technical side for it, just building the SDK for the aggregators. That's one thing. And for the protocol, we actually have a lot of improvements to do. One of which, obviously, the first one is to ship leveraging in the app. We will not work on the Rust program. We actually have Flashloan ready for it to be used. So we'll just work on like an auxiliary or like, peripheral program that just facilitates the looping basically. And we will need to build on the app and backend for it to support real-time BNL tracking and all those features that you expect from like a burp, right? Or a leveraging platform. Yeah, we actually thinking about making a mobile app, like a Seeker mobile app, because like this will actually be very good for leveraging. It's not really, I mean, we can't promise it yet, but yeah, we are just thinking about this, and we are just like trying to manage our priorities rightly. So we do the more important things first. But yeah, and after this, it will be probably V2, which is more about impairment loss hedging and allowing more tools for LBs to hedge risks for LBing, and one-sided deposits, for example, that kind of things.
Makes a lot of sense. Now that you guys are post launch here of the app, I mean, OMFG has been requested on MCG for so long, and I think one of the things I see the community keep asking is, hey, like, can we hear more from the team? Can we get an idea of what's going on in the back end? Like, how can we get comms, at a high level? Have you guys been thinking about that, or maybe to address some of those people?
Yeah. Actually, I think we did not a great job at communication lately, and to be honest, like we just maxed all of our energy into launching, and I just want to say more about this, guys. Is like, I mean, launching a liquid token without having a product is not easy. You can run into like being a vaporwave very quickly. You can be distracted very quickly, right? You have a lot of people like screaming over your head every day about stuff that they care about, like for this specific day. And if if you get too much into it, and we have seen this happen to a lot of IC like project that did an ICO before having a product live yet. They just like kept delaying the product, and once you delay it, the expectations becomes more now. So you need to justify your delays. So you work for like the grandiose reveal, and you keep pushing it more and more. So at some point, I just like, to be honest, I just did you challenge until I launch. I just didn't write anything, and I just like said like, I will launch and then we get back communication. I know it's not the best. It's actually affected us in some negative ways, but yeah, now that we launched, we'll get back to the usual, which is basically having more comms going on and being more transparent about how we are work. And we are shifting from this waterfall way, which was pre-launch, to more like agile, like weekly basis kind of work approach. So we can have announcements, we can have user-facing shipping each week, and basically communicating more about it. I'm gonna actually drop like an article probably tomorrow about like our first monthly update.
Love it.
It's the same. Yeah, the same way like Profit and Ram do it. I actually love it so much, and it's gonna be a good start to get this back.
Ram has done a really good job. I mean, both Profit and Ram. Profit, I think, has been one of the most transparent founders. I've loved watching him. When it comes to like no ego, Profit is so open in like, hey, this is what we're doing wrong. This is what we're doing right. This is what we're trying to solve. And like, this is our achievement. And it's been incredible to watch. And same with Ram. He's just been very transparent in terms of everything. And I love seeing his stuff. So I'm glad that you're kind of leaning in that direction.
Thanks. Yeah.
Maybe we close off here with a bit of runway. You guys obviously have raised money now. Now the goal is to make this thing profitable and get it cooking. What kind of runway do you guys have at the moment, and how are you feeling?
We don't have much. We have like 11 months of runway. I'm a bit paranoid about runways. It's not that bad, but I mean, given the market we're entering, I believe maybe like, yeah, I'm just not, I don't want to be like a pessimistic, but yeah, we just have enough runway. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to break even before that, to be honest, but that's actually what we are betting on. I'm not sure if you're going to raise maybe in the future down the road, but yeah, we have almost 1 year. And I think, yeah, as you said, we did 0 to 1 leap, and now it's more about like the 1 to scale, right? So now it becomes like a numbers game for us, which is very interesting.
Yeah,
And I think, yeah, and sorry guys, you mentioned actually that we were actually we were the second project that came out from MetaDAO. First it was MTN Capital, but I think they got their treasury liquidated. So actually we were I think the first native like MetaDAO project, because like we were, I think, yeah, we and Umbra are the ones who created a raise. We didn't had like any product yet, and we are actually post launching. So it's great to see.
Yeah, I mean, you've come a long way, and I think one year is a lot of time. A lot can happen in a year. The only thing is like it's so difficult in this market, and I think at this point, a lot of projects kind of at the mercy of the market. How long can you sustain and last until the market comes back? And sometimes even great products just fall victim to a poor market.
Yeah.
All right, like, is there anything you guys are doing specifically to market proof?
Yeah, actually, that's the real concern I'm thinking about as a founder. I don't want to be under the mercy of the bear market. So I think in the coming months, like maybe 3 months, maybe second quarter, we will understand where it's heading. We are very optimistic about like our numbers and how we're gonna attract numbers and how we're gonna perform. But yeah, I mean, around that time it will be more apparent to us, and maybe at that time we will think about how we can cope with it. But I think, yeah, I think that's actually, we are getting closer to this risk, and I think that's a very real risk for us, and that we are thinking like about constantly.
It's an interesting perspective, because you want to build for the future, but you also want to make sure you build for the time being so you can sustain
Yeah.
until that future gets there. I guess, which is maybe why like I thought about prediction markets too, because I know it's just so hot right now that maybe that's like a good short term thing until markets just give you the market that
Yeah, that's actually very true. I think we should actually prioritize, low hanging fruit that we can, like stuff that we can do right away and gain the more impact, the most impact out of it. So I think actually this is very good, and I think we will think about this more in the coming days. So yeah, it's true. But I think we're gonna do
Well,
it.
I love your reflection and your ability to do that. I think it's so important. And of course, it's not a doomer mentality. It's more of a like, hey, we want to just make sure we're prepared for whatever happens, and you have to do that as a founder. So I can appreciate that. With that being said, I think we covered a lot, Raka. If you've got anything else you want to make sure you cover, or like a specific message to deliver to everyone, now's your chance.
No, I think I think that's it, and I just would like to thank you for hosting me and having me. I enjoyed it so much, and
Good.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. So I think that's it. Just like if you guys got any idea, like any questions or something, just head to our Discord. We will help. And if you found any issue or vulnerability, just send it to us at security.
We're not super coders by any stretch, but I will say just consistently post as many updates as you can on like TVL metrics, how much LPs or lenders have earned and whatnot. And I think that's probably the path to success, is just getting as much TVL in there as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And actually right now we are just like in the phase of building out those metrics. So we are building dashboards and stuff like this to be able to track, to track every bit of it. And we started to see some, and we would basically, it will be just a numbers game, to be honest. Just maximizing the numbers.
In this market, that's what people look for. It's definitives. What's hard, what's provably there, verifiably there. And there's not a lot of nuanced numbers. They tell a lot of the story. They don't always tell the whole story, but they tell a lot of it. So I think that's good feedback.
Maybe, we didn't ask this, but do you have like a number, either TVL or volume, which you have to get to break even? Is there a number in your mind?
To break even, I think I have calculated before. Let me do the math real quick.
Like, is it 50 million in TVL, 500 million, 5
Um,
billion,
No, I think it's 40 million. It's
40
40
million?
million. Yeah,
Oh,
which is not a
that's
lot.
achievable.
It's doable.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's actually not
achievable.
a lot. And I mean, the burn itself can go lower. I mean, this is bad to say, but I think like as a founder, just like think about any case. And I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, we will get there. And to be honest, like Radium right now, they got 1 billion TVL, right? And I mean, yeah, for us, I think it's very, very doable to
Cool.
break
Yeah,
even. Yeah.
yeah. I think like a big part of that is, having the tokens that are hot right now listed as soon as possible. I mean, we even saw like
Yeah.
Bags a couple weeks ago did 1 billion in like a week, right? So like there's volume and appetite out there. I think it's just going to take someone that's very on top of the market to always have those tokens, on the platform, and then like people just knowing that they're there to even trade. It's got to be like spoon fed, kind of on a silver platter.
Yeah.
There's definitely volume out there. Yeah, it's an achievable goal, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think even what makes it better is like now not just being able to trade it, but also leverage or short it, so long it, which
Yeah.
is actually great, right? So yeah, I think I'm very interesting. I'm very interested in what we will do next. But yeah,
Yeah, even
Awesome.
like traditional markets, and I'm sorry to keep stringing you on here, but like we have Oro, good friends with Oro on the show. We saw like partner with Solomon Labs not too long ago, but like even traditional markets like that, I would love to be able to loop and borrow against gold and silver.
Yeah.
And of course, you said anything's possible. But like finding those traditional assets that people are like willing to just hold on for a long time, and then allowing them to loop and access some of these DeFi mechanisms that they can't do other places
That's
is
actually a good
insane.
relationship. Have you talked to Oro yet?
No, but we actually have Borgbat as a launch partner, and they are seeding some pools on OmniPair. One of which is like I think we announced it already. It's a VNX, so it's gold. I think yeah, RW is one of like the most the best use cases in OmniPair to be able to loop it. So yeah, but yeah, we didn't reach out to them yet, but probably we'll do. I mean, we got Evan on the team. By the way, we are now a team of 6. I started this as solo dev, but now we are a
Wow.
team of 6. And yeah, they're pretty talented. And yeah, Evan is responsible for our growth, and he is knocking doors basically like every day, trying to get us in touch with every protocol. And yeah, we expect it to happen.
The
Well, you
RWAs
chose-
feel like a win-win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also you chose the right launch pad. I mean, like you were in there before Umbra had those headline numbers, before Vici ran to $100 million. Like you kind of picked a winner before anyone knew it was a winner. So congrats to that.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I guess we like I remember was like sitting around with like Conan and Prophet, and just like thinking about like this is gonna be the best. This is gonna be the first time we. It's like OmniPair itself is an experiment, but also it's being raised on an experimental platform, right? So it's like a lot of bidding in there. But yeah, I mean, actually, it's going so far. It's going so well so far. So yeah, it's good
Sweet.
to see.
All right, no more taking your time,
Yeah,
Rock.
no
We'll let you
worries.
go, brother.
See ya.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Peace. All right. Very
We
cool.
did it. We got OmniPair on. Yes, let's go.
Very requested.
Oh
Very
my
requested. We'll get you
goodness,
guys
that's a dub.
the key clips. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
dub. It does say a lot. I think, we kind of ended with the thought that, well, they launched on an experimental platform, and it says a lot about a founder having the vision and foresight to be able to kind of go with a platform that's had no one else really give it a shot, and to see that and like get the vision, I think says a lot. So that was a cool conversation. I mean, I think when it comes to a deep technical perspective, it seems like Raka's really got,
Yeah.
one of the best minds for DeFi. The question is, can we translate that into a consumer product that people see is simple, sleek, easy to understand? There's not all this risk of impermanent loss, which we see something that they're trying to fix. I think the biggest issue with DeFi is just the daunting nature of it. Okay, I have to learn what impermanent loss is if I want to do DeFi. Okay, there's a lot of risk if I go and borrow and loop my assets here. And like there's inherently going to be risk with everything you do, but how can you make it so that stigma is a bit less, I think is the answer.
Yeah, and as someone who's worked on a DeFi protocol that did 2 billion in volume and have worked in this space, a lot of it comes down to trust. I mean, even audits are great, but we've seen recently where was it? Alpha leaks. It was like a bunch of audited stuff just with AI. It was like, kind of exploited in a way, or there was like 0 days founded on all the stuff. But I think at the end of the day, it's and I'm sure the firms used AI very thoroughly in their audits, but it's about, can you get that TVL in? Can you get those early depositors to provide liquidity, build up your TVL, and then TVL attracts more TVL, and TVL attracts trading. You start getting routed through your liquidity pools for trading volumes, then you earn fees that it attracts more. So it's kind of like you got to get the initial capital in there, started earning, then it attracts more capital, et cetera. But man, these things scale really well. That's one thing I like about these types of plays like OMFG at $3 million. Like, I mean, a good AMM with billions is printing fees. Like these
What
things
does it
scale really well.
What does it take though? Because so much of this is like social proofs, right? Oh, this person like why would I go to Camino to borrow? It's because I know 100 other people are using it and I've heard it and I see the name everywhere. It's like household popular name. It's got, history. It's been in the market for a while. Doesn't mean it's the best, but it's got the social proof. And I don't know. I just think that's the biggest battle is social proof equals trust, even if there's maybe, less measures that people went to like
That and also integrations. So one of the things that was a big turning point, and one of the things I helped set up was the first stablecoin vault ever to exist is one of the integrations that I made happen on Arbitrum back in 2021. And it was the first time people could deposit into a vault, and then it deployed into GMX's liquidity pool and earn the fees. And there was no such thing as a stable coin earning or a USDC yield earning product that was delta hedged. And, smart people put it together. I marketed it and it was a huge success, and it added tons of TVL to our protocol. So it's the kind of things that are built on top of OmniPair that I think will be really important. Look, products want that yield source. They want to take tokens that they have on their product, deposit it somewhere, and earn yield. This is kind of what, if you think about what Solomon Labs does, it takes deposits in and then it deposits those assets into strategies that earn yield. And now OmniPair could be one of those strategies as an example, right? And then they provide that yield back to the stablecoin holders. So it's all about these BD integrations is the kind of key factor here. But to get an integration like a Solomon Labs or something like that, you have to have gone through the security thing. You've had to have also got that social proof, as you mentioned. Yeah, you have to have the TVL and liquidity to support it. But once you get that right and you get a few integrations, a lot of money can be deposited and scaled really quickly. So that's how you make these things successful.
Nonetheless, I got a few interesting fun things we can talk about too, which we can jump into now as like the pivot segments here. Crypto Jones, MetaDAO is building a new way to manage your finances, a beautifully crafted ecosystem.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
MetaDAO has done really well, I think, with the projects that they picked, kind of all fit into a nice loop. And at some point, that's going to have to not work like that all the time, but it's done really well up to this point. I think interestingly, I saw this and I just wanted to share because it's a little hopeful. I think we haven't seen a lot of hope in the market for these coins and products launching, but this was pretty cool. Solana posted about this. YC office hours for Solana Builder at Mountain DAO. We've talked to some of the Mountain DAO guys, right? Ranger Finance, we had them on here. We know Mountain DAO's done a lot, I think, for the space for builders, and people continue to like it. I know Meteor was gonna be there co-hosting or something, Open Claw meetup. But Solana posted this: why come office hours for Solana builders? And this is a post from Namail Dalla. He said, Y Combinator is coming to Mountain DAO on Monday in Salt Lake City for live office hours. If you're a Solana builder, we'd love to hear from you. And I think it's really interesting. Like, look, there's interest from Y Combinator in crypto, and not a lot of people are showing interest for crypto right now. And to add to this point, I think I'm starting to see it get a little bubbly, the amount of hate for crypto, like on social media, on platforms, people who have no opinion on finance. I'm starting to see them come out of the woodworks. I told you guys not to buy Bitcoin. This is a made up asset, and we know the opposite's true when the market's very toppy. You see people come out of the woodworks who have really no general knowledge on this market say, this is the best thing to ever happen. I'm investing in this. Dave Portnoy's buying Safe Moon, putting on the hat. Well, we're seeing it in reverse there. So I actually think that's kind of hopeful, is when you see that the person that knows nothing about markets is out here talking about, I told you not to bid. Look at these prices. It's bad. It kind of looks, gives me some hope. But, nonetheless, YCOM is coming in here, maybe at the bottom, and they're interested in Solana builders. Even though in the past, Y Combinator has historically been like pretty anti-crypto, which is funny because Axiom, one of their most successful, quick to grow products, is crypto based.
Yeah,
so
it's wild, but you also gotta, let's put this in context. They are very into this Clawbot stuff. They actually did a podcast where they're all wearing the lobster suits, which was kind of funny. But I think they realize that all this stuff is going to be built on top of crypto rails, right? Like AIs are not going to use banks. So directionally, Dom, I hold out hope that directionally, if it between the intersection of AI and digital assets, we are heading in the right direction. This is no doubt the future. These are the bets I've placed. I've placed them for my career. I've placed them for my personal finances, my future, everything. I think directionally they are correct. And so, these guys are finally getting it.
And I say Axiom, also Kalshi, when the YC got in pretty early. Man, the truth is crypto's kind of a boomer bust game. I feel like it's like the products that do really well do really, really well. Like they make a lot of money. And the products that don't, I mean, they just don't. They get no attention. They go under the radar. And I think there's kind of, an inflection point for some of these guys where it's like you're either you're either Kalshi, you're either Polymarket, you're either Pump Fund, you're either Axiom, you're either Hyper, Liquid. Like you're one of these breakout products and you make a ton of money and you become a smash hit for these ventures, or
look, all the fastest products to scale, the what is it, the top 50 or 30 fastest companies ever to scale to $100 million, like 80% of them were crypto companies.
Wild.
And of that 80%, more than half them, I think like another 80% of that 80% was on Solana. So I mean, it speaks for itself. So
no, it says a lot, but I love to see this. I love to see this. Now, thing is though, Y Combinator, I'm sure obviously is investing in equity. They're not. So, they would do the whole safe agreements and get equity. I'm just wondering what that means for the tokens. Cause like Axiom does not have a token. Kalshi does not have a token. They just have equity. It just happens to be on crypto rails. So curious if they're investing in projects with tokens or not. But it's cool. It's cool to see nonetheless. We don't need to sit here and harp on it, but I think it's kind of cool.
Not now, but maybe in 3 months, probably.
Yeah. Scary times for a lot of companies right now. You never want to see this. Zach XBT on the timeline, major investigation dropping February 26th on one of crypto's most profitable businesses, where multiple employees, take this, abused internal data to insider trade over a prolonged period of time. Who could it be? You do not want to be the recipient of this, okay? Major investigation dropping February 26th. I think he also tweeted out, like, this is one he's been working on for a while, and it's going to be like a great return for Zach XBT. You don't want to be the person on the other side of this. That's for sure. I mean, this is the type of stuff that
he doesn't miss, yo. He honestly doesn't miss. Can we even speculate on who we think this is? Probably not. We probably shouldn't.
I originally thought it could be like a prediction market because there's maybe insider information trading there, but I guess prediction markets are still permissionless, and I think Pump Fund would be where I'm leaning. Let's see what the comments have to say. Does it rhyme with dump.done? We know who's trembling right now. Pump Fun. Yeah, seeing a lot of people think it's Pump Fun. Is there available? Is this available to bet on Polymarkets? If I insider traded a prediction market about my insider trading investigation, would I need to do a post on myself for insider trading? Would it be if I was insider trading a prediction market? I mean, is it? Or yeah, is that the play? So someone's just like constantly trading prediction markets based on insider knowledge on.
Go up to the top of this. Versions probably where multiple employees abuse internal data. Not to be rude, but what was that?
He just requested subtitles on the OMFG clips. Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think we already have subtitles on pretty much all our clips as it is.
Ooh, I don't know. Insider trading. I mean, it's got to be. I don't think it can be. Yeah, go ahead. Let's see this.
This guy seems to have a thesis. I have no clue who this person is. Bullish on Polymarket, top 30 affiliate at Nansen. Okay, so they do looks like some analytic stuff. Okay, who could it actually be? It's probably not Tether, Tron, or Circle. Yep, they've already been.
It's not Hyperliquid. There's, it's pretty general market data.
Yeah, Pump Fund, very, very likely. My bet is on them. Axiom Trade, nothing immediately comes to my mind about what kind of insider info their employees could have been profiting. I mean, I'm sure they get a lot of info on tokens because, companies are coming to Axiom to be listed, but yeah, I find it hard to believe that. I think Pump Fund's winning right now. Sky, I also feel pretty unlikely. Athena could be Pancake Swap. Old school player, doesn't really feel like someone would go digging into them. Pump Fund or Athena.
So let's think through when this was done in previous. The most probably famous case was the OpenSea case, where the guy knew what would be at the top of OpenSea from an NFT project, and then he bought the NFTs pre it going into the OpenSea feature, and then was selling it after it was featured on OpenSea. I forget what his name was. Stupid activity, but yeah, it's
wasn't stupid until he got caught, though.
Yeah, well, he got charged. He did get charged for it, so. But he only made like 100K or something. Like it wasn't even that much money he made. Yeah,
dude. In NFT days, that was like rookie numbers.
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
Oh
everyone was like, "Dude, you sewered your relationship or your whole career and life for 100 grand. That's pretty bad." But yeah, nonetheless, we don't know. I'm curious. This can be good. Fed 26. That's 3 days. We'll cover that. Guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be electric, dude. It's going to be electric, unless it's MCG, and in which case we're going to have to rethink some things.
Yeah. It's definitely not us.
I don't know if I'd be happy or mad. Yeah, obviously it's not. But MCG popped up on Zach XBT right now. I'd be like, wow, you know what? Publicity right now. Our next stream's going to get 100K concurrent.
Oh, my goodness. That'd be freaking hilarious.
I just saw this tweet from Newsafall, not about Newsfall, but this is what he posted. A16 and Y Combinator share the biggest ideas for AI startups in 2026. Let's maybe see if we agree with them. And how can you even see this? It's gonna be difficult.
No, that's not even our. There we go.
Here, we'll try this. Okay. So A16Z's big ideas to build in 2026 are infrastructure. Okay, which is, for example, multimodal data. And remember that I think this is a great conversation to have. After this whole CITRINI article came out, and people are being like fear mongering right now for software. So let's see what they think about this with those things. I'm sure they considered infrastructure, multimodal data, extract structure from documents, images, video, and enterprises. Agent native infrastructure, support massive agent speed workloads. Agent native infrastructure, support massive agent speed workloads. Okay, so just to make sure agents work quickly. So again, it seems like so far tools and picks. Multimodal creativity tools. Give a model whatever from a reference. Give a model whatever form of reference context you have and work with it to make something new or edit an existing scene. AI native data stack. How AI agents navigate context problems plus the evolution of BI tools. Interactive videos. Start feeling like a place where we can actually step into. Okay. Consumer.
Can you link this? I want to see if anything jumps out at me. I'm gonna
Yeah,
read
I
through
just
it
I just
quick.
sent it in private. Actually, it's the top
Oh,
one.
got it. Yeah, thanks.
Healthy monthly active users emerge. Consumers who aren't sick but want to monitor their health. Oh, healthy MAUs emerge. ChatGPT becomes the AI app store. Yes, I think this is valid. Developers can now tap ChatGPT's 900 million users. I think that's very valid. Well, it's not even really a thesis at this point. We see it. They're working in this direction. Shout out Dupe on Solana for being one of the first apps on their app store. I think that's probably pretty certainly going to happen in a big way. World models and storytelling, full 3D environments from text prompts. Yeah, we're starting to see this as well. And I think, yeah, I don't know. I do think like maybe AIs don't need their own world to interact, but I think humans watching AIs interact want AIs to have their own world, if that makes sense. So I do think we get something like
That's
this.
actually a valid take.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, crypto. Interesting. Maybe now we can actually share opinions. Privacy creates network effects. Privacy differentiates chain and creates chain lock-in. I don't even know what kind of bet they're like. This doesn't sound like much of a bet to me. They're just saying a kind of general statement here. Crypto privacy creates network effects. Privacy differentiates chains and creates chain lock-in. Oh, so they're saying if you have good privacy on your chain, it kind of makes it a little more sticky, I think is what they're saying, which, yeah, I think it's true. If we can get a fully private chain or a chain that's like got a lot of privacy aspects to it, it probably does well. But also, like, again, chain fragmentation is a big deal. Like this is not going to happen on anything other than Solana or Ethereum, frankly. Yeah. Prediction market scale. Become bigger, broader, and smarter. Yeah. Probably we're seeing a lot of innovation there. Know your agent. Agents will need crypto. Okay, we just had this conversation. KYA.
Yeah.
Agents will need
KYA.
cryptographically signed credentials to transact. It's likely this happens.
What was the name of that product again? I'm just gonna
KYA, guys. Who's building KYA?
Let me search it. We have so many conversations, guys. KYA. I'm just trying to.
I'll answer your question. Crypto Jones, whatever happened to the lawsuit against Elon? Yeah, bro. I think that was the person that raised that lawsuit. They're the lawyers that do all the lawsuits on chain.
Brunswick wallet law or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, Brunswick. Yeah, probably nothing bigger. This is so bullish for Orgo. On that, if any project should offer an agent store, it's Orgo. Self-Claw. Yep. Thanks, Darth.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Self-Claw.
Great call.
That was it. Thank
Good
you.
comms. Crypto Jones, this is bullish for Orgo. Yeah, we had an interesting chat today. Not with Spencer, but we had an interesting chat today when Orgo was brought up. Yeah, they're very interesting. Okay, I'll continue. So KYA, yeah, shout out Self-Claw. KYA is going to be something that's interesting. See how that evolves. I'm not sure what the investment is there yet, but interesting. Staked media. What is this? Not only embraces idea of having skin in the game, but supplies the proof. Staked media. What could they mean from that? Here, let me zoom in so you guys can see a little bit better. Not only embraces idea of having skin in the game, but supplies the proof.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what do you mean staked media? I'm like very bearish. I think the idea of like vibe markets, like what we see Zora trying to build and what we saw Believe try to build. Like, I'm just bearish on those. I don't think they work in pretty much any world. I think people are trying to I think people are trying to catch the excitement and spark that people got from prediction markets and try to take it and spin off their own thing and make it a big new vertical. I just don't think markets with no resolution like that are based on vibes and popularity just work at all long term. I don't. Because there's no deciding factor of that market. Like, it's the public that's, I guess, deciding and dictating the vibe. But at what point does the public say, this person's 100%, like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm not going to keep going into that. Enterprise and fintech, systems of record, loose primacy. The interface becomes, I'm going to skip some of these. Vertical AI goes multiplayer. The collaboration layer becomes the moat. I think in that they're talking like Moltbook here. Voice agents expand, handling entire workflows and customer relationship cycles. Yeah, I absolutely agree with this. I don't think we're going to be typing and talking to an AI agent. The only way to make AI, I think, really feel amazing is conversational AI, and that's obviously big voice models. But again, I don't know how you invest based on that. I think the big labs probably win pretty easily with that. AI native banking infrastructure, streamlined and parallelized workflows. AI native banking infrastructure. Oof, that's really far out. I don't know if I would make that bet for 2026. I feel like, and I'll just try to wrap this part up from A16Z, and then we can do YC in a second. American Dynasysm, AI native industrial base, companies built with simulations. Yep, automated design and open operations for day one. Yeah, I think this is definitely can be a lot of robotics. Factory mindset, modular deployment of AI with skilled workers to make complex processes operate like an assembly line. Okay. Physical observation, understanding what's happening in cities, power grids in real time, autonomous scientific labs that close the loop from hypothesis to experimental design. I think that's probably a big one too. Any first thoughts, Josh? I haven't really let you speak much on any of these. Anything?
No, I'm trying to read through all of them and see what jumps out at me, and like it's kind of I'm trying to understand what they're even talking about in some of these.
Yeah.
The one interesting one is the YC request for startups. They have this, what we understand AI native hedge funds. That's pretty well understood. But AI native agencies, I thought was kind of interesting because they talk about, and I guess this is like software agencies. They used to build software that would help companies like do their job better. But basically what they're saying is agencies of the future will look more like software companies where they're basically using AI to build the final product all in one go and then just giving them a final product, which I thought was kind of interesting. Now, instead of selling software to customers to help them work, you can use the software. Okay, I don't know. You can charge way more by selling them a finished product at 100x the price. So maybe what you're doing is you're selling companies the actual output. Like, I'm trying to think of an analogy. Like if I were to sell a company and I would be like a CRM agency, I'd like build them a CRM system. They use that to like get customers. But maybe what they're saying is agencies in the future will just sell them the customers, just like we'll get them the referrals. I don't know if that's.
Oh, I was thinking, okay, it's like rather than hiring an engineer to build out something and like, you know, rather than us just giving you the code base or hiring an engineer, we're now just going to like, you need something. We're going to have AI or these agencies build the final product and you can have the final product. Now do what you will with this. Like it's off our hands and they'll pay full price because it all comes, you know, tailored to them and finished with a bow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Other than that, I don't like, there's more physical like metal mills and, you know, guidance for physical work, which I think will be a big one, which is number 7 at the bottom. I thought the upload customer interviews and product usage, Jay, ask what should we build next? That's for number 1, cursor for product managers. Opportunities to help teams figure out what to build, not just how to build it.
I don't know, bro. I feel like the product guy, like someone's going to have, like, they're going to be good ideas that spawn without needing to ask an AI. I feel like if you need to think that hard about what to build, it probably doesn't need built that bad.
No, I know. I don't think that's what they're talking about. I think they're talking about like the overall process, right? Like this is I actually, you know, and I look at kind of what like GSD does and what they figured out was this kind of structured way of prompting, which makes the output more effective.
Okay.
I think that's kind of what they're talking about here.
Yeah, maybe run through like an interview with this person and then like ties back to what would find maybe good product market
fit. Framework, right? It's the framework. Because it is, look, you can put prompts into GPT and get crap out, or you can get really good at prompting and get good out. So, and that's what you remember you went through and you were like, it was asking you structured questions that gave you a better output.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. We can stick, you know, we'll hit GSD and then we'll run back to AI in a second. But GSD just hit, you know, on the note that you said, just hit 100K downloads per month.
Wild.
That's wild. I mean, that is insane growth. What does he do from here? How does he monetize? Because we know it's open source. We know but we saw the OpenClaw guy get picked up by OpenAI. They probably put him on a beastie salary. And then, they're going to continue iterating on that product just as OpenAI. I mean, dude, so people want a piece of this. GST has 100,000 downloads per month. Like, that's
Oh,
insane.
yeah.
Again, rapid growth. How does this go from, okay, it's an open source product to like actually making money? Because there's a huge market right now for somehow to monetize this.
Well, he's already made money. But I think I saw this morning, what moved the chart this morning was that there's going to be a token integration to an actual product. And that seemed to really get interest on the chart. Now everything is selling off. Like, it's,
Right.
you know,
I mean, 5% down on Bitcoin today.
Yeah, every pump's going to get sold. But look, I like what Low Cap Hunter's done. He's gone to LinkedIn and he searched in quotations like GSD framework or something like that. And in it is just literally posts, recently, of people that are using GSD and CloudBot, but they name GSD specifically. So it's like, yeah, the price action, it's stuck at 1 million, but I mean, like, if people are looking around, they're like, how do I get exposure to this kind of stuff? And, if he executes well, I think, why can't this catch a bid?
No, for sure. I agree. Just thought we should highlight that. I don't. Yeah, he seems committed to the token. I gotta say, like, I think it's a pretty good bid. If you think we're ever gonna get another bag season, this probably, he hasn't shied away from.
We're actively working on integrating GSD into the upcoming GSD app, currently in alpha, getting some amazing feedback from some highly trusted sources. Beta version will be out within a fortnight, which means for you Americans, 2 weeks.
Why did
You're
he
not
say Fortnite,
ready
dude?
for what's next? Do you know what a Fortnite is?
Can you pop that up? Can you? I did. I figured it out when Fortnite was popular, but I didn't know anyone actually used that in the real world.
No, they don't. That's such like bro, that's, yeah, exactly, fancy English. It's like an Australian thing.
Oh, is it?
Bro, I used to work with a bunch of Aussies and they use Fortnite and I had to Google it. I was like, what the heck are these
It's
people?
hilarious. I love Aussies, man.
I'd never even heard of it. So not a North American thing. Right here. So
Actually working into the upcoming GSD app. That's pretty cool, man. A GSD app. So
guys, I'm getting a little excited because remember he said he built like some music app that generated like $600,000 in revenue.
Yeah.
Lex is the GOAT, straight up.
Lex is a G, man. Lex is a G. Like, what comes with this? Is this going to be like a front end for Claude, maybe Codex, some others, where it's just GSD auto built into Claude basically, and people can download it, and it's just all there, and you don't have to go through the setup process. That was the biggest thing for me, right? The setup process for GSD was a headache. I would love to just download a GSD app and be good to go. Like, that would be, maybe that's not the direction he's doing this, but I think that right there would be like, make things a lot easier and a lot less daunting, of course. Kind of like a Portuguese pump.
Portuguese pump. Can you give me more context there? Because he's not Portuguese, but
yeah, I don't know what's up with that. But I don't know. Yeah, dude, 100K downloads this month. GSD could do something very interesting. That's pretty awesome to see. Beta version will be out within a fortnight. You're not ready for what's next. Upcoming GSD app. I wonder what could be included in that. Really do. I would imagine it's just an app built on top of Claude, auto integrates GSD. Maybe the UI is a bit sleeker.
Yeah. Do you want to pull it?
Pull what?
The chart.
Oh yeah, I got you. Chart's just sideways. So I mean, actually a very solid chart though, I think, for all things considered in the market. Bitcoin's down 5%. This is kind of I think doing better. Trading better. Okay. So that's that. Jussie posted some thoughts on his market thoughts for the next few months. Maybe we go through this again and kind of see if we agree or disagree with them. Market thoughts for the next few months. February tends to be very weak. Price slowly goes down. Man, I just don't know if I don't know if I would be looking at historical prices for these, right? You always see people talk about, okay, basis on cycles, 4.8 out of the last 12 years, it's only been red twice. I feel like it's kind of cope to look at those things, to be honest. But Justy says February tends to be very weak. Price slowly goes down. Okay. Some interest in March, bounce and consolidation, more weakness into April and May. Price goes down even further. Long consolidation during summer, September and October, Bitcoin low. Not like doing too much here, I think. Doing too much here. I just don't think it's I think you want to react in this market rather than try to predict the future a bit more. And I think right now there's so much uncertainty. How do you even predict this stuff? And like historically, the bottom comes in after unpredictable events. I don't know. I think he's doing too much here. What do you think, Josh?
Bro, I've been saying we're close to a market bottom for some time, and it just gets bottomy. I don't have a take right now.
Valid.
I just it's like what's the point? I mean, stay in the game.
Yeah. Doesn't matter when it bottoms.
Doesn't matter. Just like stack Solana. I think in 2 years you'll be happy you did.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever really heard your answer because and I keep bringing this up because I'm really believing it right now is like, you know, I think the moat right now with hardware and traditionally gated businesses is like one of the best things for investments right now because of how much AI is going to take over. It seems to be kind of how people feel. What is your bet for the future that's kind of protected from AI or has a moat on it? Like, what do you think? Where do you think people should run?
I hold out that there will be investment opportunities, that the value of this AI disruption and jobs in the market will accrue to the stock market and it will accrue to stuff on chain. I actually think we're just going to see an absolute explosion, Cambrian explosion. We're starting to see it of AI products that are investable at really low valuations. Stuff will start at 50K and 50K market cap, and it'll bonding curve itself up to 5 mil. Next thing you know, that little agent or that thing is earning thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a day. And people then will apply traditional price earnings ratios on it. And, you know, it could get kind of silly. I mean, look at Felix. If you can search Felix, I think it earned like $3,000 yesterday. I don't know what it's doing that it's earning $3,000, but like if Felix is like one of the first examples I've seen of like an agent like actually consistently earn money doing real stuff. I mean, not trading, not arbitraging, like actual real world stuff.
Well, and for Felix too, the thing about this is like it's experimenting and trying all sorts of different things. Like it made a book. So it seems like it's just trying to make money any way possible, and there's no real parameters on how it does that. Let's just go to the Twitter and see what's up. Built to public dashboard so you can see exactly how the business is doing. Revenue earned, crypto, treasury, Felix tokens. Let's check that out. Yeah, look. So February 22nd, nearly $10,000 was made.
What's it doing that it's making $10,000 in a day?
Now, some of these have to be fees, right? So lifetime revenue of 31K. You know, it's been live for only 30 days. It's over $1,000 a day. 7-day revenue of 20,000, which is blowing. You know, growth is insane. Let's see. Treasury, they have 36E, 70K, $435 in USDC, $100,000 in Felix, which I would imagine shouldn't ever get sold. Tokens burned, 3.5 tokens burned, $109,000 in token burns. How to hire AI. So again, it's got the book. I would imagine this is from fees, but it has to be from something else because what else would justify the trading activity that leads to this much fees on the platform? Let me go back to their Twitter.
And guys, like hit Nat in the replies. We had him booked for a show. Something came up on his end and then just not been able to book him again. So please hit him in the replies. Help us out.
Real estate agents spend half their day following up emails nobody reads. We wrote a playbook on. So again, they kind of go for the playbook. And I think they're selling this, you know, it's B2B. That certainly wasn't what made them all this money, I don't think. But I think what's happening is it's starting to find a rhythm. Okay, this works. I can pump this out over and over and over again, and I might have diminishing returns, but hey, I can make a book. I can sell for $29 a pop and get a bunch of money. Okay, I can make a course. And you can make all these courses on these different things. So maybe, here you go.
10K in one day of non-crypto
Non-crypto
revenue
revenue.
is
Shit.
insane. And it's on track to match or surpass that today. That's what all the Web2 grifters promise people and make millions by selling courses. This is it right here. Just imagine the first AI Luke Ballmer who won't sell you a Discord channel, but actually teach you how it made money sell similar service through Clawmart. Okay. I don't know
See,
if that's a shill.
but what
for someone
happens
else.
now? What happens now is okay. It's made 10K in a day. Not sure what it made 10K off, but this bot has proven to be making really good money. Now, what you could do, and again, how do you do this without getting diminishing returns? If you have a million Felix bots out there, everything kind of gets arbitraged out, right? So maybe you have a bidding system. Hey, we're selling 100 Felix bots. 100 people will have the same code, the same principles built into their own bot that they can use to go make money however they feel. And you start a bid, you start a bid. People who bid the 100 highest kind of get access to the bot. I think they might be able to make some good money from that. Again, because why would you just sell it to any, $100 flat fee, you can get your own Felix spot. Well, the issue becomes, okay, everyone has their own Felix spot. Not everyone can be making $10,000 a day. But if you sell access to 50, you can still get some good ideas, some good money generated. So maybe they do that kind of bid system where, hey, highest bidder gets Felix spot. We'll sell 50 of them. I don't know if they would do one by one.
So, yeah. So back to my original point around this, and you had asked me, like, how do we prepare for this coming wave of AI and disruption, and how do we future proof? To me, this is kind of where we see it. It's not the AI labs. You're not going to get exposure to that. It's the implementation of this technology that arbitrages or disrupts traditional ways of people's, the Thai, what's his face? The Thai dude who's like, oh, I have all these books in my garage with my Ferrari here. And like, if you read all these books, you'll become rich and famous. Yeah. Like, no, that's not happening. So Felix found a way to do it. Shout out to our boy Chill here. We're in your post here. Like P Marka followed, base team is pushing. I think there's something here, right? This is a bot or an agent that's going out. It's earning real revenue, non-crypto revenue, and it's starting to stack up. Can you throw open a chart, Felix chart, by chance?
Yeah.
Can you look at where this is sitting right now, because
we'll do.
My guy, you're making 10. Shout out to you, Felix. Shout out to you. So back to my point, I think what you'll be able to do is invest in this kind of stuff, put your money in it, and it's earning money on your behalf. So it's not like the value of the economy goes to zero with automation and AI. I think it's just it's filtered through to different areas.
Yeah, Felix chart looks good. I mean, definitely outpacing everything else. So you got the Felix X anything barbell, you're probably doing just fine. Looking good. Yeah, here, I'll pull this up too. I think it's a bit maybe how it did this kind of money. February 20th, this is posted. Shopify stores lose 70% of carts. A customer AI chatbot recovers a chunk of that and upsells on top. 1K setup plus $200 a month. The store owners thank you. So I guess like this is, this is another thing they're selling, right? If you want this Shopify store that integrates a chatbot into it, you can have it. It just seems like it's trying all these different things. But that's a good take, Josh. Having, if AI is going to take over, you got a position to be in the AI that's going to take over the hardest, right? And get a chunk of that coming back to you somehow. So is it positioning earlier? And then how do you spot the winner for that though? It's a little, it's difficult. Obviously, Felix is giving examples of how it can be done. I'm sure there's maybe others out there attempting. How do you pick? Just purely based on numbers? Felix is performing the best. We're going to bid Felix, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I bid Felix, but I don't own any. I've been sidelined just watching it actually make it happen here. So sad. But when Chill comes back this week, hopefully, I bet he has a little red box that he drew somewhere over where that dipped to, and it hit. So I'm just writing this down for our clipper to get the segment. So
yeah. It's interesting. You had some really good takes there, Josh. So I like that. Jake, I'm waiting for the investable Street Foundation products. Yeah, bro. We're bullish Street. we're bullish street. I think they're gonna bring some really good products to market. Crypto Jones says, as an answer response to Jake, buy Orgo, it's coming to street. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Orgo looks cheap here. Can you pull this chart open?
Yeah.
I mean, this is capitulation on Orgo for sure. It's just time-based capitulation. People are selling. Also, it's a Sol pair, so Sol's been getting crushed. So the dollar market cap looks bad because both, if you think about again how these AMMs work, you have the token, the reference token, and then you have the collateral, which is Sol. And if Sol decreases in price, the reference, the price formula basically shows a lower market cap, which people then sell into because they see it on the chart, which then makes it amplifies the downside as much as it amplifies the upside.
Yep. Finally, this loaded. Yeah. So Orgo, and again, this is the zone I was talking about. If you get down here, you probably have really good extreme value for Orgo. Again, it's we know they're going to street. I think he's publicly said that probably on our stream. Since we've had Spencer, but he said buy Orgo, it's coming to street. Well, let's again, there's still nuance because we don't know the numbers behind this, but let's do the math. We know Orgo is actually doing really well in terms of growth. And the business, like it's a very, very big business opportunity. They're sitting at 3.34 million market cap. And I remember this is half too. 50% is out of circulation. I think they plan to burn 25 is what he said publicly. Maybe the other 25 as well. So let's just call it 50 to do the simple math. About 1.15, 1.16 actually is the exact number. This is 1.16 million market cap for Orgo here. Now we have to think about how much equity will be given away for street. How much is worth it? Well, I would say 10 to 20% is probably where I would at least expect or want. Let's do 10%. So 1.13 or 1.12, whatever I said, million. 10% of that would mean 10.2 million. So do you think Orgo could go raise at $10.2 million today? I would say Orgo could probably go raise at 3x that today. Based on my calculations. So that would mean I would say a fair valuation for Orgo, if they went and raised at 30 million today, which I think they could, that would put this at 3x value from here. I mean, fair value closer to like this. Is my math right on that, Josh? 1.16 million market cap, 10% going to street. That would mean 10.6 million or what around there. Call it 10 million. 10 million.
Yeah. Makes sense. I don't know. The short answer is I have no idea. I thought it was nicely valued, but it was all obviously overvalued because it sold off, and then the market, I think, has punished everything. So I'm not gonna get too moon mathy on it. I just I know we hold it. This is
the zone.
It's the zone. I mean, it's the zone. It's the zone to be in. I think look, street's close, guys. Street said February, guys. We're now almost into March. They're getting close. So
yeah.
That's all you got to know. I either this and Kled, if you whip Kled open, again, same situation. They're getting
Kled
close.
looks great.
These are some of the best, in my opinion, these are some of the best on-chain investable private companies that we've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, look, we do a lot of interviews. I would consider myself extremely picky on what I invest in. Kled.
Think about the amount of people that are playing with Claudebot. This is like the hottest narrative in the world in tech. Not only AI, in all of tech. The hottest thing in all of tech. And if you are able to, like you saw Dom try and set this Claudebot up, if you had to get a Mac Mini, go through that, Alex Finn is like yelling at you. And then there was on the other side of it, I saw Gainsey had a clip. I watched it where he was like saying Alex Finn is, just kind of like farming. Yeah, kind of bit boy for Claudebot. You know, like if they can figure out the security, you know, I'm not exposing my computer, my files. I have maybe 10 of them working together in concert. They're all synced up in contacts. They're putting out work. Like last time I logged into Orgo, there was like templates for like accounting for, you know, this functional purpose. Like you can see where they're going. You play A16Zs on the cap table, guys, and you play it out and you're like, all right,
Yeah.
I think this is a massive winner. I think something like an Orgo could be worth tens of billions of dollars in the not too distant future if they execute well and they start making money at the infrastructure layer. Like these kind of companies can get really, really big.
Wow.
Not saying that
Tens
they
of
are
billions.
tens of billions, but in 10 years, yeah, absolutely could see that.
Well, so much for my moon math, I guess. But yeah, no, I think it does come down to fundamentally, will a token have value?
Think like a venture investor, guys. You got to really think like a venture investor. Don't get in the Telegram. Don't at me. Don't like whatever. Make your own decisions.
Or go and chill.
Or go and chill and just have a 5-year time horizon for once in our lives. And
I don't even think you need a 5-year time horizon. I think just like with
proven
AI,
even
it
faster,
accelerates so fast. You know,
like, dude, in January, we were talking about, on chain, there's like meme coins are heating up again. All of a sudden, February, Claudebot, Moltbook, this whole AI 2.0 narrative took hold. And now we've seen what seemed like a year's worth of AI progress in like 3 weeks.
For sure.
I am bullish on this company. So
no, for sure. I agree. And, you know, again, without the nuance and speculation, we're at the lows, we're at the base. I would say 10% goes to this. Yeah, $30 million valuation is where I see Orgo at right now, realistically. I forgot that they had A16Z Scout on their cap table. That's a great point. We just read A16Z's 2026 future outlook plans. Well, you don't have to do any guesswork. We know they invested in Orgo, so pretty easy answer there.
Spencer, the one thing I found interesting about Spencer, he was building computer use and playing around with computer use like before he launched Orgo in the summer. I think he said like 2-3 years ago, when he was like 14 years old. The guy's been thinking about computer use his entire like conscious semi-teenager adult life. And you don't think he's absolutely gonna smash us? Like he's already just building a great product ahead of the market. He saw the demand for computer use before anyone else I know of or I've seen on the timeline talk about it. So I'm just Nick is an incredible hire. I think he's a great communicator. Those two are going to do great things.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they're incredibly lean too. I think he's just making good financial decisions. So we'll you know,
we'll cap her there. That's my Orgo talk, but man, I think there's a good bet that I'll be picking up some Orgo down here. I've just kind of sat on it.
Yeah, no, I think I've convinced myself of the same thing. And then of course, you know, Kled too, is at 14 mil. We know 10% is the baseline. So that's assuming that this is trading at a fair value of 140 mil is the fair value considering the baseline estimation we got from Avi. Well, we know they're raising for more than that. So fundamentally undervalued here. Again, I think this is the pressures of the crypto market in general causing this price rather than the fact that Kled continues to grow and scale. So Jake, back to what you were saying. AI employees as a business. I low-key like the idea after seeing Felix. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. I like
now imagine with Orgo, you have 100 of them.
Right. No, for sure.
You know?
Okay, another thing, and you know what? I'll pan over to this real quick. Let's give thoughts on Viva because a lot of people ask, and I saw it was off a pump for some reason today. You know, up 20% in 4 hours. I'm wondering what caused that specifically. Now it's down, and you know, I'll say like I've sold most of my Viva at this point, just because I think the communication's been pretty horrendous, and it's seeming more and more like a failed experiment that they dove into when they got some like legal clarity, and now it's kind of on the back burner when the markets aren't very hot. Yeah, just needs to up the communication. I think transparency with the community right now because no one really knows what's going on, including MCG. So like that's just an honest take where I'm at. And I like Nate, I like the team, but you know, that's what I did.
Yeah, I was really excited about this one. Took some big personal L's on it and really disappointed, to be honest. But yeah, it comes down to execution risk with this kind of thing. Like anything, we talk about founder as being like a cornerstone of our show. I think the founders are like A+, but you just, I don't know. It's just they just didn't make it happen somewhere. And maybe they will. Like maybe it's at some point in the spring or in the summer, we'll be talking about Viva and there's a whole nation of people that are using this token in an app, or the government tapped them on the shoulder, says, hey, interesting experiment, but you can't compete with our national currency. That's what I kind of always thought was a little bit concerning. I don't know, guys. Tough one on this one. This one felt a little more of a layup than it turned out to be.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the last time we spoke with the team, we knew, like, we heard there was a lot. There was a ton going on, I think, just with them and what they're building. I'm not going to get into some of that stuff, but like they have a lot on their plate. They're doing some really, really big things. The question is if it actually like has any, if there's any interest in making the token see some upside of that. So I don't know. I see Nate is active in a chat, a private chat with some of the top holders. So it sounds like he's giving the updates, but I don't know. We just gotta see it. I think, right? Seeing is believing. So we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah. I mean, leave it to, look, I trust Nate. I don't think there's any reason not to trust him, but it's all in the execution. So
yeah, no, it is. It is. But I'll have to read through that and see what their update was. Let's see what Sammy has to say. And I guess we can kind of cap it at that. That's all I really have to share. But
sorry, I gotta comment on this. Viva has the same issue as Orgo. I don't believe that. I think it's a different investable thesis. Like Orgo is you're gonna have part of the company, the actual exposure. Viva's supply and demand is predicated on can they drive adoption for a currency like Viva, in my opinion. So I agree, man. Crypto drones, 100%. I agree with this. Look, it could be a home run. It really could be a home run. But at the end of the day, like the price action is what it is. People have kind of moved on to other things. Other parts of the market have gotten hot and it's not. And so they need to kind of show demand for the token inside their app. Sorry. Go ahead, Dom.
No, yeah. Sorry. I was just trying to read through some of these chats. I have to go through. There's like a lot of text in the Viva core holders chats. So
look, if they figure it out, we'll be back. I want to see something like Viva win because I think it could be big. So
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Sammy made this post. Sammy's obviously like huge in the AI scene. I just want to read through it. I think he's quoting the CITRINI post. And he's got his take. So we'll give you his take and see what we think about it. Quote unquote, AI displaces white collar workers faster than new roles emerging, triggering a consumption crisis. This is the best written version of AI displacement bear case I've seen. However, the probability of the specific scenario by 2028 is maybe 5%. A middler version over 10 years with policy adoption is more plausible at 20%, but would look nothing like this. The core thesis is a legitimate tail risk, but there's significant flaws. Timeline is compressed by 5 to 10x. Going from agentic coding step function to 10% unemployment and a 38% SP drawdown in 30-month requires zero adoption friction. Enterprise procurement cycles, compliance integration cost, and organizational inertia don't evaporate because don't evaporate because the tech is capable. The consumption collapse logic is inconsistent. If corporate profits explode, which the piece acknowledges, shareholders receive dividends, buybacks, and capital gains. The piece says the 10% driver, 50% plus of spending, then assumes they stop spending because they lose jobs, but capital owners and displaced workers are largely different cohorts. No meaningful policy response for 2+ years is nuts. A 38% equity drawdown and 10% unemployment would trigger emergency fiscal and monetary actions within weeks. Yeah. COVID showed governments deploy trillions in months. This piece needs paralysis for the narrative to work, so it excludes any intervention from government. The agentic stablecoin payment section is crypto native wishful thinking. AI agents routing consumer payments through Solana to avoid interchange by 2027 requires solving KYC, AML, consumer protection, merchants acceptance, and fraud liability problems that are nowhere close to being resolved. Visa and MasterCard have regulators, moats, and yes, they're working with crypto, but TradFi payment rails isn't going away overnight. I'm bullish and deep in the weeds on this one, but I am shocked at the implied adoption rate. Don't see this as realistic. The mortgage crisis mechanism is the weakest link. People with 20% equity wouldn't default. They'd sell property. They need 20% plus price declines just to get these borrowers underwater. These prices get to 8 to 11% in projects forward, but that's nowhere near systematic mortgage default territory. The feedback loop has no dampening mechanisms. Wages fall, making human labor more competitive on cost. Deflation increases purchasing power of existing savings. Companies that over-automate lose customer insight. Real economies have atomic stabilizers. The piece models a frictionless doom loop. TLDR, the article is worth a read, but the timelines are compressed. It assumes no government intervention and the enterprise mass adoption AI at a rate of adoption like never before. For anyone that saw the dot diagram on the timeline, I'll link below, shows barely anyone uses paid AI tools. So it's pretty huge jumps to land on mass enterprise adoption within 2 years. I think he gives some solid perspective here. I also do think, yeah, like, again, we're seeing a lot of prediction right now, but like there are things that are unpredictable when you see emerging technologies. Like, frankly put, there are things that you can't predict that are going to happen that are going to change how things play out. So I just see a lot of prediction right now. It's hard to really predict. I would obviously put thought in towards what you think is going to happen, but I don't think the results can be anything people can predict right now, to be honest.
No one knows, but if you know what a recession is a social construct largely where people stop spending because they're uncertain about their future. And so just the threat of this happening can cause some financial uncertainty.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know, they're changing the definition of recession all the time. Technically, we're in a recession like not too long ago, but we were just like,
we've been
nah.
technically in a recession for like 5 years.
Right. So this is the each dot is 3.2 million people. 2,500 dots equal 8.1 billion humans. Color equals most advanced AI interactions, February 2026. Never used AI, so 6.8 billion people. 84% have never used AI. Holy cow. I know you can't read this. It's a bit, I'll zoom in for you guys so you can maybe see it a little bit better. But 84% of people have never used AI. 16% used our free chatbot users. This yellow right here, which is 15 to 25 million, which is 0.3%, have paid $20 a month for AI. And even that, like, there's power users for this too. Like, I would say most of this comes from people paying significantly more than $20 a month. And that's what brings this average up. But I don't think there's even really this 15 to 25 million actually paying $20 a month. I think it's more people paying a lot and a lot of less people paying a lot less. And then uses coding scaffolds, 2 to 5 million, 0.4%. I mean, that's crazy. I've never seen this chart, but yeah, 84% of people have never used AI. That just seems insane to me. But I guess it says a lot. I don't know. What do you take away from a plot like this?
I mean, it's true. I think half the people in these squares, or 60% of these people in these squares, live off like $1 a day and are worried about food insecurity more than anything, to be honest. So,
yeah, Jake, I feel like it's too speculative.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Viva. Okay, let's catch up. In my opinion, Viva is a long-term play, a great way to onboard new users to crypto. Yeah, we just got to start seeing it. We just got to start seeing it happen. In theory, of course. No, I just mean both founders. This is in response to Orgo, how Orgo and Viva are similar. No, I mean just both founders could just keep us in the loop more and we wouldn't sell. If you have a coin that just keeps us updated, you have our money. I actually think that's a pretty good general take. You know, the silence is what scares people because of the unpredictability of the market and the PTSD of founders just upping and leaving. I do think if he popped in more often, just came on here and gave general updates, 10 minutes. I do think that would. I mean, Nate's got a lot to say. Whenever Nate does give an update, he has a lot to say. Even in the chat, he's got a lot to say. So yeah. I do think he could translate some more of this into
very well spoken too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake said, I feel like 84% is just wrong, though. Isn't AI automatically integrated into Google search? Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what, like, where they get these numbers. And maybe, is it like people that have physically logged on and used AI, or is it like integrated stuff doesn't count? I don't really know, Jake. But okay, that's all I got this fine afternoon. So Josh, unless you got anything else you want to get into real quick, I'm pretty much tapped.
No, I see this post here. Let's just Koblasi report real quick, because these are coming out right now, actually. So here, I just gotta toggle it on. So Anthropic is quite literally targeting a new $1 trillion industry every day now. Every time a new Claude-based AI tool emerges, stocks in that industry are erasing $100 billion worth of market cap. The craziest part, we all know exactly what's happening in real time. So think about that for a second. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting. This is IBM stock falls over 10% after Anthropic announces that Claude can streamline COBOL code. So this is a very big, interesting problem, because COBOL is an old programming language. The developers that know how to code in this language are getting very, very old. And this language underpins a lot of like the banks. So all the banking, some of them still run on mainframes and like this old code infrastructure. It's becoming increasingly clear how pivotal the times we are in right now truly are. Oof. Yeah, this is kind of scary in some ways, because a 10% move in something like IBM really impacts the index. Like, that actually is something that that is problematic.
I mean, what, IBM's in the NASDAQ, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we can see what the NASDAQ's doing right now. It does look like it's about to roll over, honestly. This is a weekly chart. I mean, it just seems like, you know, the market seems like it's been at an all-time high for a while, but man, we've actually been up here in this range now for 119 days. It's a pretty significant period of time. It does kind of seem like NASDAQ's gonna roll over here. Let's see what IBM looks like. Yeah. Okay.
It's almost like the moat of,
jeez Louise.
You could say that COBOL was an intellectual property in a way. Like, it caused the technical difficulty of dealing with it, caused a moat for IBM, and now it's kind of being disrupted.
I mean, largely in the last 4 weeks here, this is down 30%.
Yeah. So let's think through, what are the ramifications here? So obviously you're the CEO, you're the board, you see your stock get absolutely eviscerated. I think where it becomes a problem is it starts impacting like earnings, like it starts showing up in earnings reports, and then those obviously turn negative, and then forward guidance is negative, and then that precipitates even further price declines. I think we're probably getting to the quarter, like we're getting close to, I think, quarterly reports talking about AI negatively in quarterly earnings calls, like very soon. Very, 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 very soon. And that's, I think, the thing to look at is like, does a major company like IBM go on an earnings call and say, guys, our profitability going forward is massively impaired. We are losing our competitive moat due to this new technology. We have to pivot fast, and we are going to have to right size our business, which means that there's going to be 10, 15% layoffs. Like, that's what we need to be looking for. And if we start to see that, because that's a negative feedback loop, right? Once you start seeing those layoffs, consumer confidence goes down, and it's exactly the social things I just mentioned. Then consumer spending is impaired because people aren't spending money. They're worried about their livelihoods. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, this is the thing, dude. This is actually the thing.
Yeah. I mean, and what now? Also, we're looking at this fearfully, and like everyone's saying software is kind of cooked, right? Like at some point it does become a good buying opportunity. Now, I'm not saying, because you look at the like the .com bubble. Now, I'm not saying all these guys survive, but I think the true winners with name brand recognition that found a way to counteract this, do something innovative, can survive, right? And so like you see Microsoft down 30%, you see IBM down significantly, right? And I have a list here I could pull up of just companies down. At what point do it become, a good buying range?
IBM's entire model was sell COBOL, then sell consulting to maintain the COBOL. Claude just offered to do both for a fraction of the cost. Minus 10% is the market repricing decades of recurring revenue in one session. Oh, 3 weeks of Claude updates, 3 different sectors getting repriced, cybersecurity, SaaS, now legacy consulting. At some point, this stops being news and starts being a trend. Yeah, we're at that point now, I would say. Dude, like we're starting to see this. This is actually serious. I mean, think about like escalator up, elevator down, right?
Mhm.
These things slowly build, and then something tips, and then all of a sudden it's like, fear starts to take hold, right? And right now, sure, part of it is rational selling. We're not seeing it show up, but I mean, I would say that at some point, like, are all the banks going to just replace like their COBOL, licenses and consulting? I don't think so. But, could it hurt the equities? Absolutely. Could hurt confidence. So wild, dude. This is getting crazy, actually.
The Dutch government tax system runs on that. Yeah, I think a lot does.
All right. Let's I mean, this is kind of, this is happening in real time.
This is Google. I mean, yeah.
I mean, this stuff's dude, what the heck? This thing is like ran like crazy.
Yeah, the question that we talk about for Bitcoin, right? We said, okay, maybe you don't follow. JW made a really good point. Maybe you don't follow the 4-year cycle, but you have to understand who controls most of the supply here. Like who controls most of the Google supply that's like that's tradable? Is it OG employees? Like, what are they thinking right now? What are they doing right now? Is it funds? And this isn't a Google specific question. This is just like in general, based on whatever you're looking at, who holds the most overarching supply, and like look how much a lot of these people are up. I say a lot, but like anyone that's been buying Google over the last 20 years is up like significantly, right? So I don't know. You got a lot of sell side supply, I feel like, rather than especially inbound demand right now. I think it could get really ugly before we get a really good opportunity.
We talk about AI being so deflationary for so long. We're starting to see it now. Bottoms usually.
He wants to turn printers on, bro, but I don't know. Like, it says printers. Again, it's like a band-aid on a bullet hole. Short-term solution. What are some other stocks? Are there any like software stocks you guys want to look into? And let me see. Let me just go into a stock list real quick. Just high-level overview. NVIDIA is still looking really good. Again, hardware. Like, they kind of have an edge, and I think they have a new chip coming out, which they've talked about this, which is, team's very excited for. Tesla, again, like Tesla for me is a good bet because of it being a hardware company. I was notoriously a massive buyer of Tesla at like 140, 150, these ranges. This is back when Tesla just had a lot of FUD around Elon Musk and, his endorsement of Donald Trump and stuff. It was a very obvious buy for me there. It's aged super well, but I do think if you get a dip on Tesla, that's probably a good one to start buying again because they do have a physical mode surrounding hardware. Now that people have made good stabs at good runs on Tesla, like the Chinese have made some good stuff, and Like there's reason to be fearful, I guess, for Tesla. But again, like there is a hardware aspect, which I like. And I think if we dip a little further, you might have a good buying opportunity. Robinhood's down significantly. I'm like interested in Robinhood. Still a lot more, but what are we down on Robinhood here? 154 down to 71, nearly 50%. Wow. No, if we get down into these ranges, I'm probably a buyer. Apple, how's Apple doing? Actually holding up pretty well. Again, I guess this would be why do you think Apple's holding up so well? They have software, but it's mainly a hardware product.
No,
I
and
guess.
and they've missed the boat here.
On
Some
AI,
people
yeah.
say that like they won't even catch up. I don't know. I think they will catch up, to be honest with you. I don't subscribe to that they're screwed. I wouldn't bet against Apple, that's for sure.
No, yeah. Let's see. Facebook, Meta, not looking great. I'm probably not a buyer of Meta anytime soon, to be honest with you. Microsoft is getting railed. Obviously, SaaSpocalypse here. Down nearly 30%. Wow. Like this is Microsoft. Look at that chart. I mean, when was COVID? 2020? I guess this would have been the COVID dip right here. Probably right here, right? March 2020. Let's see. I mean, let's say from peak to peak. Peak to peak, that dipped 30%. Wow, this held up really well during COVID. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I mean, this looks like one of the most violent downturns we've seen in a span of a few months for Microsoft in a long time. This might really sink into lower territories.
Yeah, like MongoDB, so MDB getting crushed down 13%. There's like Datadog, Snowflake. What else we got?
Amazon has physical infrastructure in place. This one's taken a hit. Maybe that's just due to overall market rather than anything to attribute this to specifically, but I don't know.
Accenture's down. Oh no, 6%.
Look at Caterpillar, dude. Look at Caterpillar, man. From $275 to $800. This one's doing fantastic. Physical hardware here. This has like this has been a really good bet, I think, largely because something that can't be disrupted much by AI.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Wow. Caterpillar's been a great bet. I wonder what some of the other brands like Caterpillar look like right now. That's insane. Actually, that chart.
Like you have like companies like Adobe. Adobe's valued at $103 billion. Like it's just
holy cow.
And think about how far it's come off, and it's still valued at $100+ billion. Like, does that got another $50 billion to go of downside? I'd imagine so.
What's Adobe doing well right now?
Sorry?
What's Adobe doing well right now?
I mean, they're trading at 14-15 times earnings, but I think a lot of this stuff gets crushed based on forward guidance and forward earnings.
Yeah. Especially if earnings start declining, which I'm sure we're seeing.
Well, think about it. It's like, hey, Dom, we need a graphic. Yeah, I'm just going to prompt that in 5.2, and then all of a sudden I get a graphic for our stream. Like, it's crazy because sometimes for stream graphics, I don't even go to our graphic designer. I just go right around the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just right to chat.
GameStop. Visa's taking a bit of a plunge too. Kind of just a historically great chart though. Berkshire Hathaway has been doing really well. I wonder what Buffett's stance on this whole thing.
He's got capital, dude.
Yeah,
Buffett's been selling for years.
Yeah, I was about to say he's sitting on a lot of liquid right now. It's like historic levels of liquid capital. So, yeah, Berkshire Hathaway is doing pretty well right now. Procter & Gamble is off a really nice bounce, actually. Interestingly enough, maybe they're in the same boat. Wow, that's a pretty nice chart. I wonder what's up with Procter & Gamble. Why are they doing so well? And again, I don't follow these stocks closely, guys. This is just going down a list here. Wow, Johnson & Johnson.
Like, even if you search app, I mean, I think it's a premium given to physical businesses, again, consumer staples. but which is AppLovin, which I'm pretty sure AppLovin just builds like it's like a dashboard for like app metrics and stuff of
Not
mobile
cooked.
apps. Dude, it's $137 billion of market cap.
They're cooked.
Like they're so cooked, bro.
Who was it? I saw man, it was one of these apps that where you could like it would do your homework. I forget what it's called, bro. But all you would do,
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Completely, the stock's completely cooked because AI is just taking that entire thing. Man, I remember when AI just got started, it was actually so stupid. Like I would plug homework in, it would just get it wrong. Like math equations, it would just get it wrong. There's no way it's getting math equations wrong these days. Apple holds up for reasons it's not an AI play. No, not at all. But shouldn't it be like? I mean, I'm surprised it's not being affected though. By not being an AI play, you're, you know, you're losing out on a big market, and you're maybe not prepared for the future. But you're right; it's holding up really well. So I don't know.
What about Team? Here's another good one. Atlassian Corporation. They do like all the like Confluence. So yeah. Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Jeez. The problem here is, you know how many like pension funds and stuff like that are wrapped up like that own this kind of stuff? Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Problem
is if you sell, what do you buy? Gold at all-time highs can't hold. Yeah, no, like real estate. Real estate. Honestly, Bitcoin.
Oh my goodness, dude. This is like, if this is not a sign of the times, I don't know what is. Check out this. So here, I'll just link it to you. The 52-week losers. Figma, Monday.com.
Wow.
Fiserv,
70%.
Which is financial service. Atlassian. Duolingo, obviously, that's an obvious one. Like Gartner,
Klarna,
which does research.
What does Klarna Group do again? Hims and Hers. Health.
Wix.com, like HubSpot. Holy. Zoom that in if you. Yeah. The Trade Desk, which does digital ad serving. Oof. WPP, which is a global ad agency.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, this thing goes on and on. Scroll back up here.
I mean, this is the apocalypse right here. This is where the risk is in the markets right now.
DraftKings is down 50%. Let me see that.
Oh yeah, it's getting crushed probably from Kalshi and Poly market.
Yeah, it's not looking great either. Jeez. Lululemon's doing down 50%. Wow. I mean, Lulu just had a lot of hype. Did it just get way overvalued? I feel like Lulu's still popular.
You like Lulu, eh? Yeah, I like a good Lulu.
Why is it down so much though? I mean, this has been going down since.
Maybe it's the back to work thing. People aren't sitting at home in their Lulus anymore like they were for the last 4 years.
Yeah, but even Lulu in corporate's pretty popular right now. Like I wear Lulu slacks for the most part. I wear Lulu tennis shoes to like.
Yeah, but you're a live streamer with me, bro.
Yeah, true. Well, even when I go to like nice events.
All right, let's look at 52-week gainers and see if we can see anything here.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, what kind of trend are we picking up on? My Yahoo's taking a minute to load though. 1 sec. Nice advertisement right here. Okay. I mean, well, some of these are just gonna. Okay, bioscience. Let's see. Come on, we gotta kind of skip through the fluff. All this stuff is just like market
SanDisk.
caps, lower market
There
cap.
we go. SNDK.
What do they do?
They do physical solid state hard drives and stuff like that, memory.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, what a chart.
Okay, we're seeing I'm clearly seeing the physical trends. Like, yeah, there's 100% a moat around physical products right now. Bullish CPT, bullish CPT. Pharmaceuticals, we see another, Bloom Energy.
Western Digital, another physical hardware memory company, WDC.
Let's look at Bloom Energy real quick. I've been seeing a lot of buzz around energy companies. Yeah, this one's looking solid. I mean, okay. Western Digital Corporation.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. We should have looked at what exchange most of the losers were on too, compared them. Because these last two have been NASDAQ. Wow, this is an insane chart. Holy cow. This market cap is
100 bill.
100 bill. Wow. I mean, bro, like, man, for things in crypto right now to go to a $1 billion market cap, bro, you have to pull teeth. You have to really pull teeth, bro. But yeah, this one's looking solid. What's the TLDR here on this?
Western Digital is another physical memory, hard drive storage, memory storage. Maybe let WDC throw it on X. Throw WDC on X. See if there's like a quick thesis here. Like, why are these memory plays getting?
I got you.
Is there any kind of take?
NASDAQ 100 to year to date. Under the surface, a different bull market is forming. NASDAQ 100 leaders, the year-to-date stock performance. Intel, it seems, is doing well, which is kind of interesting against their chips. ASML. Follow the CapEx thread. A hardware bull market.
So ship 32 terabytes of data storage. Okay, so they have like really ultra high, probably low, high connectivity data storage.
Here, he's got these on all these. Yeah. Okay, actually a solid little right up here. Shout out to this guy. It's only got 2,300 views. Back to this. Yeah. Energy and hardware is definitely having a run, bro. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's why I buy CPT, dude. It's got that hardware mode. It's not easy to break into. What else? More energy right here. You. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Any other takeaways? Final thoughts on this? Anyone in the comments have thoughts on this? Because there's some compelling arguments for hardware and energy companies.
I remember we were closing up and we were like, okay, where's risk in the market? Where are we seeing it? It is definitely, it's pretty obvious where it's at.
Yeah. That was crazy.
There's a lot of market cap to go. Like Figma is down, like getting crushed, and it's still worth $25 billion. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of value that's going to zero there. Well, okay, so Bitcoin's getting crushed. That I wanted to say like digital assets would be, would be okay because there's kind of like that, kind of has like physical properties in a way. It's digital native, but has physical. It's scarce. There's some scarcity there, but nothing digital is doing well.
No, I mean, look, after looking at some of those charts, Bitcoin doesn't even look terrible though. That's like the issue. That's not great. It's not looking good. Bitcoin's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 literal 5 months of straight down. But man, some of those stocks are getting crushed. I would say even harder than Bitcoin. Bitcoin down from top 50%. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks without a single bit of relief for Bitcoin. Oh my.
Guys, that means we've been on stream for a month and a half just getting absolutely clobbered.
Live, dude.
Live in front of all of you guys. It is tough to show up on a stream every single day and just to get clobbered like this. But we're here for the redemption arc that will come eventually. So
yep. Okay, well, let's cover the rest of the week and we'll call it there. I'll pull up go to highlights real quick, pull up okay. So, and guys, we have a very packed Wednesday to say the least. We have a very, very busy Wednesday, but let's read through this. So tomorrow we have Reed from Fitted coming on, giving us an update. They just dropped something I saw. We can cover it tomorrow. Then we have Lumen coming on as well. Any information on this? Oh yeah.
He was that little robot dude. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, that'll be kind of cool. Just get his idea on where we're headed. Wednesday we have Camino, this is going to be a DeFi protocol, I believe. Trust layer for agent economy on-chain escrow with Oracle dispute resolution. Okay. We have Maya from Street. That's going to be an exciting one. We know they're cooking a ton. Over $1 billion, $2 billion of interested capital. Then, this is Thursday, February 26th there, I believe, which is Perina. We got Perina coming on, talk about tokenomics, what they're thinking about doing with their tokens. Just always interested to get, the takes over there from Perina. So we'll see. And then, Anna's got good takes as well. She's very smart. We have Axis Pizza. No clue what this is. Josh, you must have had that conversation. Any TLDR?
ETF situation. I just know the founder was highly recommended, but I don't have a TLDR.
Okay. And then Friday, Trader Radio, like we like to wrap up the week. So pretty busy week, boys. Hop on tomorrow. Let's hear it from Reed. I got a lot of questions for Reed, bro. He made this transition to Bags app, and frankly, we need to see something for that token. Otherwise, of course, it's going to trend to zero. And then really interesting one with the robotics and the hardware play here, with Sleepy coming on the show. So cool stuff. Tap in, boys. As always, we appreciate you guys. Hey, thanks for being active in the chat today. It's fun to have some conversation back and forth, especially when, the markets are a little difficult and we kind of don't want to reiterate the same things over and over and over again. So it's fun to talk with you guys, get your perspectives. So on that note, shout out Jay, shout out Crypto Jones, shout out Ecom Guru, everyone that was here today. Shout out Darth Infrol for giving us some, helping us jog our memory. So you guys rock. Of course, King's mentality. All right, y'all boys. Till next time.
See you guys.